local, late breaking. This is Newswatch 14 Sunrise.
And good morning to you. It's Monday, November 23rd, 1998. I'm Dan Katz.
And I'm Christy Bullard. We will have the latest news for you in just a moment. But first, Storm Team meteorologist Byron Douglas joins us now for your first look at today's forecast. It was absolutely beautiful out there yesterday. Is that going to continue today?
Well, it's going to continue. We're going to keep our mild temperatures, Dan and Christy. I mean, it was a great late November weekend. Temperatures certainly well above normal for this time of year. Here's a look at the Storm Team forecast for today. We're going to start out with some sunshine, otherwise skies will gradually become mostly cloudy. The high up to 62, normal's at 52. How long is the warming trend going to last? The details in a moment.
Okay, Byron.
Well, topping our news this morning, it's looking more and more like a U.S. military strike on Iraq could become a reality.
A leading Republican senator is declaring, quoting here, "We better be prepared for an attack." Indiana Senator Richard Lugar says this is the only choice the United States has, referring to Iraq's latest act of defiance. This time it's over demands by weapons inspectors to see more documents about Iraq's outlawed weapons programs. Saddam Hussein's government claims it's handed over everything that's relevant and that the newly requested documents don't exist. A UN envoy is off to Baghdad in the midst of this latest dispute. Iraq's UN ambassador says that his country will answer the Security Council's questions about the matter. The Secretary General has sent his special envoy to Iraq, but as the envoy left Baghdad today, he refused all comment on the latest uproar. Keeping Indiana's roads safe this holiday season, that's the goal of a new program called Operation Pullover. A state grant pays for the program, which allows Vanderbilt County Sheriff's deputies to work overtime so they can look out for speeders and drunk drivers. The Sheriff's Department says if anyone gets pulled over, most likely you won't be getting a warning. It'll be the real thing.
Careful, because if they stop you, they're probably going to write your ticket. And it may not be as many warnings over the next 2-week period because the Operation Pullover, they want tickets written because that's the only way we're going to get the word out to people that we are concerned with seatbelt compliance, drinking and driving.
This program runs until December 5th. Sheriff's departments in every Indiana county will also be taking part in Operation Pullover as well. Officers won't only be looking for speeders and drunk drivers. Area law enforcement agencies will also be keeping their eyes out for folks who aren't buckled up.
The Transportation Department is kicking off a national seatbelt campaign today with the help from officers in all 50 states. The week-long campaign is targeting motorists who don't wear seatbelts and who also don't have their kids buckled up. Police will be issuing tickets, increasing their patrols, and setting up checkpoints to enforce seatbelt laws. The majority of Americans, about 69%, do buckle up. However, the government says 6 out of 10 kids who died in car crashes last year weren't wearing their seatbelts. Kentucky U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell will attend the opening of the Planters Tobacco Warehouse in Owensboro this morning as the first day of the 1998 Burley sales season begins. Over 600 million pounds of Burley tobacco are expected to be sold this season by Kentucky farmers. The market is scheduled to run through February 26th. Indiana gamblers are betting more, losing more, and staying longer in the casinos than they did 2 years ago.
According to an analysis of data by the Indianapolis Star-News, the 12.7 million customers boarding riverboats during the first 9 months of this year wagered $899 on slot machines. That's a 21% increase from 1996. Industry officials say the numbers prove that casinos are an appealing form of recreation, but others say the figures indicate that some gamblers are developing problems. The Glory of Rome, billed as the world's largest riverboat casino, opened Friday in Bridgeport, Indiana, about 10 miles down the Ohio River from Louisville. It's a sure bet that downtown Evansville is beginning to look a lot like Christmas. On Sunday, Evansville's 10th annual Christmas parade helped ring in the holiday cheer. There were reindeer, snowmen, and of course, Old St. Nick. Center City Corporation organizes the parade, and members figure with more than 100 floats and groups, this was the biggest Evansville Christmas parade yet.
We feel this has become a traditional event for the community, and with tradition, it builds. People tell other people, and it has become a family event. So they bring their family down every single year, get their favorite route on the favorite spot on the route.
Each year, the Tri-State Food Bank counts on folks to bring canned goods to the parade for donations. If you would like to donate food or money, you can stop by their local office or at grocery stores. We were there yesterday.
Yeah, it was a good time. The weather couldn't have been better. It was in the 50s.
No, it was so beautiful.
Very
and
nice.
downtown,
Was that a nice ride?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
in the downtown on Main Street. It is just absolutely beautiful with all the Christmas lights.
Haven't even bought my turkey yet, and it's like, you know.
I know, that was a little odd having to pray before Thanksgiving, but it was very nice
Very nice.
weather-wise.
A lot of people down there,
And
too.
folks, where's Byron? I said, I don't know, but you were...
I heard one person say that.
You were in Indianapolis, right?
I was out of town,
Okay.
so it was up at the big old Oak and Bucket.
You had a good time, didn't you?
Had a great time.
Purdue fans had to love that one.
I got tired of cheering after a while, but
Oh,
well,
yeah?
Don't rub it into
Yeah.
me.
no,
Rub it
no.
in.
Okay. Let's take a look at the weather for today. Not too bad. Here's a look at the storm team forecast. We're going to start out with some sunshine, and then a few clouds will start to stream in during the afternoon, as we're looking at a high temperature up to 62 with a southwest wind at 10 to 15 miles an hour, and that will help elevate our temperatures for today. Then we'll have a front cool off a little bit for tonight. As you can see, there's the nice sunny 62 to start. A few clouds will stream in during the afternoon. Then for tonight, mostly cloudy with some clearing late, a low down to 40, sundown at 4:34. And then for Tuesday, mostly sunny and mild. The high temperature surging all the way up to 64, even though the winds will be out of the northwest at 5 to 10. Behind the front, we're looking at 64 for the high. Currently in Evansville, we're at 51. 51 up in Indy, 46 in Cincinnati, 54 in Bowling Green. A few clouds starting to move into areas of far western Kentucky, so the bulk of everybody seeing some sunshine. But as I mentioned, our sunshine will be early. 52 and 35, that is the normal high and low. The records from 1967 and 1950 certainly are safe today. And the rainfall department, nothing for today, just maybe a few sprinkles for tonight, but we're really not looking at any accumulation. And for the year at 41.73, which is above the normal. With high pressure control, lots of sunshine, but you see some clouds starting to organize out to the west, out in advance of our cold front, with winds out of the south and west. Then some low-level clouds are actually streaming through portions of Missouri and Arkansas, and they'll dim our sunshine and dim it out pretty good as we progress throughout the day. We see as we scan out 350 miles, nothing's showing up on the radar, and we do expect a pretty quiet day as far as the radars go. Here's a cold front really stretching out from sections of Wisconsin back into Texas, El Paso. As it gets a little bit closer, we'll start to see an increase in clouds. High pressure well off to the east, keeping winds out of the south, which has certainly elevated our temperatures. As we go through the week, at least right now, at 59 on Wednesday with some clouds and rain, and then 54 dry. I think we'll clear things out for Thanksgiving, and certainly seasonable, if not a shred above the normal. For Thanksgiving Day, we'll keep you apprised of that. And Wednesday as well, because that's a big traveling day, Dan and Christy.
This is looking pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. For this time of year.
Okay.
Thanks, Byron.
The nationwide murder rate is at its lowest point ever. The details next.
And hundreds gather on the 35th anniversary of the death of President John F. Kennedy. We'll take you to a special observance in Dallas when Newswatch Sunrise returns, so stay with us.
I'd like to make something perfectly clear. CLR Powerhouse Bathroom and Kitchen Cleaner is the fastest and easiest way to clean your entire shower. There are products like this that advertise that you will never have to clean your shower again, but their directions tell you to spray it every day. CLR Bathroom and Kitchen Cleaner takes one application to clean your shower, and its self-cleaning action cleans that scummy, grimy bathtub ring that you usually have to rub and scrub. Just spray it on, wipe it off, or you can use your shower to rinse it clean. Don't spend your quality time cleaning and scrubbing when CLR Powerhouse Bathroom and Kitchen Cleaner makes cleaning so fast and easy. CLR Powerhouse does the same amazing cleaning job on kitchen and bathroom sinks as it does on bathtubs.
When you start comparing healthcare plans, it seems as though you're comparing apples to apples, when in reality you may not be. The Sagamore Healthcare Network offers straightforward, innovative healthcare plan solutions. Solutions that over 90,000 local residents rely upon. Pick the plan that includes your area physicians and hospitals like St. Mary's Healthcare Services. Pick Sagamore Healthcare Network. Caring, compassionate, cost-effective. That's our mission. It's what your healthcare plan should be.
For the very best for your family, there's just one place to shop. Find it all at your participating neighborhood Sureway stores. Sunnybrook Farms onion dip or sour cream, the 8-ounce size, 2 for just 89 cents. Great morning start with May Rose bacon, only $1.49. And stock up on Pepsi, the 24-pack cans, 2 for just $10. You'll think the values are delicious when you shop for your favorites now at your participating neighborhood Sureway stores.
Live from the Tri-States News Leader, this is Newswatch 14 Sunrise with Dan Katz, Christy Bullard, and meteorologist Byron Douglas.
Good morning to you. It is 5:40, 51 degrees out there on this Monday. Senator Edward Kennedy left flowers at the graves of his brothers yesterday, the 35th anniversary of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
Senator Kennedy was accompanied by his wife Vicki and Ethel Kennedy, widow of Robert Kennedy, at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. Robert Kennedy was assassinated in 1968. President Kennedy and his wife Jacqueline are buried near the graves of their first child, an unnamed daughter stillborn in 1956, and an infant son, Patrick, who died 3 days after birth in 1963. And on the 35th anniversary of JFK's assassination, hundreds of people came together to remember the former president. Several hundred people gathered for a moment of silence near where President Kennedy was assassinated 35 years ago. Faces of the young and old were in the crowd. Some weren't even born when the Kennedys came to Dallas. The FBI says the nation's murder rate reached its lowest level in 30 years in 1997. In its report, the Bureau says serious crimes reported to police last year declined for the 6th year in a row. All violent crimes such as murder, rape, robbery, and aggravated assault, and all property crimes, including burglary, auto theft, and larceny theft, dropped in both number and rate. President Clinton credits his administration's strategy of putting more police on the beat and getting guns off the street for the decreases. Republicans in Congress credit their legislation providing money to states that lengthen prison time for violent offenders. The White House may be open to a formal punishment of President Clinton.
Two of Clinton's top aides say they're ready to explore a middle ground with Congress about a censure of the president for his attempts to cover up his relationship with Monica Lewinsky. White House Special Counsel Greg Craig says that there aren't any negotiations with Congress right now over censure, but he says that he has been talking to some members and finding out how they feel about it. Meanwhile, the White House says it'll answer House Judiciary Committee questions about the Lewinsky matter this week.
Well, the University of Southern Indiana women's soccer team takes part in the Elite Eight for the first time ever. We'll let you know how they did coming up in sports.
And making sure your Thanksgiving celebration doesn't turn tragic. Some tips on fire safety later as Newswatch Sunrise continues for Lancaster and Mount Vernon, Indiana.
Today, more Tri-State viewers will watch Newswatch 14 at 5 than all other newscasts combined. Being number one takes commitment, technology, compassion, and teamwork. Mike Blake, Stephanie Sylvie, Storm Team meteorologist Jeff Lyons. Your time, your team. On Newswatch 14, the Tri-State's news leader.
Don't miss your Chevy dealers
non-stop
Blacktop Coast
to coast. Save the most
sales event. The biggest cashback offers in Chevy history.
Got our Blazer.
Get your Blazer and get $2,000 cash back. Or get your Blazer with the lowest financing rate in Chevy history.
No payments for 90 days.
So get to your local Chevy dealer now for their non-stop Blacktop coast-to-coast Save the Most sales event.
Act fast.
Won't last.
Do you love home decorating but need to drive hours to find great selections at great prices? Well, now there's By the Yard Fabric Outlet in downtown Henderson, Kentucky, where shopping for a variety of home decorating fabrics is close to home and easy to find with the helpful, knowledgeable staff. Come see the First Quality Fabric Gallery with new fabrics arriving weekly. With 50 to 75% off regular retail, By the Yard Fabric Outlet always has prices to fit every budget. So don't drive hours to buy home decorating fabrics. Go to By the Yard Fabric Outlet in downtown Henderson, Kentucky.
The holiday season comes wrapped in tradition, a time for family and friends, a time for special savings at Beeler's Bilo. Beeler's Deli takes the fuss out of the festivities with a large selection of distinctive and delectable party trays. Beeler's brings you sweet savings on custom decorated cakes and fresh baked creations. And for tasteful gift-giving, let Beeler's design a gift basket filled with fruits, nuts, anything you choose. We're proud to be part of your holiday tradition. Beeler's Bilo.
Good Monday morning to you. It is 5:45. It's pretty warm out there, 51 degrees. Not bad at all.
Not bad for this time of year. This is, of course, Thanksgiving week. Beating turkey about 4 days from now. Hard to believe, isn't it?
I know, it is hard to believe. It has been a nice month. Usually in November, you don't see a lot of sunshine. We've seen a lot of sunshine. Normal high is at 52. We're already at 51, so we're beating the rap there. Yeah.
It's your favorite saying. It's a good one.
Right. Well, you know, when you...
It's the tail of the tape, isn't it?
That's the tail of the tape.
That's another favorite thing.
You guys are too sharp for me this morning.
No, we're not.
Good night's sleep. Let's take a look at what we have outside as far as high temperatures for today. We're looking at high temperatures with winds out of the south to be in the 60s, and we can see the traffic's moving along okay right now. Look out to the east side. Some folks want to get in, get to the office, get their work done, so they can leave the office early and make it a short work week. So no accidents out there. Temperatures today, as I mentioned, will be in the 60s. With the wind streaming out of the southwest, which will elevate our temperatures out in advance of a cold front. A cold front will move on through, but really not a lot of cold air to bring in, so it'll mainly just be a kind of a wind shift front where winds tomorrow will be mainly out of the north and west. Susie Kemp up in Huntingburg, she's situated at 49. Visibility is at 10 miles, a good indication that Susie has some clear skies there. 51 at Evansville, a few clouds starting to move into far western Kentucky. 53, partly cloudy in St. Louis. Mainly clear up in Indy at 55, and 48 over in Louisville, and 46 in Cincinnati. Carved out a nice little niche of high pressure for ourselves, which brought us a very nice weekend. You see winds are streaming out of the south, so we're starting to bring in some clouds from the south, some low clouds, and then out from the west as well. So eventually we'll see mostly cloudy skies, but we will start out with a nice little patch of some sunshine, and then some snow, and actually mixed in with some rain in portions of northern Michigan, and just some rain, some gentle rain falling down in sections of Mississippi as you pull through portions of Alabama down into Dothan, and then over into the Panhandle and Florida and Pacific Northwest. It rained all weekend out from Seattle, especially through most of Oregon, and then lots of snow in the Sierra Nevadas, and then out in portions of Mount Street and Shasta. We'll take a look at some of that video a little bit later on. As high pressure works off to the east, we'll get winds out of the south, which will elevate our temperatures, and then be behind the front tomorrow. It still will be mild. Storm team forecast mostly cloudy later on, a high up to 62. And then for tonight, mostly cloudy down to 40, sundown at 4:34, and then mostly sunny and mild tomorrow, high up to 64. There's a look at the extended outlook. Maybe some rain when you're traveling on Wednesday night, but it will be all rain, not snow. And Thanksgiving Day doesn't look too bad. Grain prices weak, the big loser, off 5.5. Dan and Christy?
Very good news for all those folks who'll be traveling to see family.
I know, traveling.
Yeah, it's been a lot worse, hasn't it?
Certainly.
Okay. In sports this morning, the USI women's soccer team was a win away from the NCAA Division II Final Four. All they had to do was get by Ashland in front of the home folks on Sunday. To Strasweg Field for the action, and what a defensive battle this one was. Both teams got off their shots. Ashland's Kim Dangle with the attempt, but Angie Greaves comes up with a big save. No score after regulation. This one, believe it or not, goes 5 periods. USI getting ready for double overtime. Shayna Stosak gets a foot on it. Greaves can't get to it in time, so the only breakdown of their defense cost the Lady Eagles a trip to the Division II Final Four. Ashland wins a heartbreaker, 1-0, ending USI's fantastic season.
Yeah, it's been a great year. You know, it's been unbelievable. I think we surpassed what a lot of people thought about this team, and you know, it's been an awesome year, and we just need to, you know, to keep our heads up. You know, you don't always get the ball bouncing your way, and you know, it didn't happen today. We had the chances, but it just didn't go our way.
So the Eagles finish a great season at 18-3-1. The basketball aces are in mid-season form despite trying to blend some highly touted freshmen with their veterans. Could their sacred season continue? To Robert Stadium, where UE takes on Sacred Heart in front of 7,500 parishioners. Marcus Wilson, coming off a perfect shooting game against Tennessee Martin, shares the wealth with Craig Snow. Turnaround jumper good. Snow with 13 points, and Jim Cruz had to like that. What's not to like about this move? Wilson pitches in with 19 points. Wilson tied the record with 9 straight threes last game. Not as sharp this game, but teammate and fellow senior Kurt Begley gets the hoop. Freshman and Memorial grad Clint Keon had a career-high 17 points. He also had 7 steals and 6 assists. UE wins easily, 94-69. The Aces now 3-0. They'll leave for an invitational in Hawaii this morning. Not a bad gig. Purdue continues its winning way, surviving a scare against Lafayette, 72-67. Brian Cardinal led the way with 18 points. They head to Madison Square Garden in New York City to battle North Carolina in the semifinals of the NIT tournament. That comes up on Wednesday. All is well with the Evansville Lady Aces as well. This could be their year. Some new faces and a new attitude are driving them towards success. Kathy Bennett's squad under very dark conditions there at Roberts Stadium. Well, I guess we don't have that video. Anyway, the Lady Aces won that contest. There we go. Let's check out some of the action right there. Shyla McKibben knows how to handle the ball down low. 2 of her 24 points. Shyla added 11 rebounds. A team effort all the way. Shinko Ono with the 3 ball. Lady Aces looking to run away with this one. Lisa Eckert with the easy 2. Coming up, UE shoots 50% from the field to extinguish Belmont. The final in this one, 92-59, and they improve to 2-1. USI Lady Eagles not so fortunate. They fall to West Texas A&M at the Disney Classic, 67-58. Well, Thanksgiving, of course, is this Thursday, and the holidays are always a time for family and friends to get together and celebrate.
Folks at the German Township Volunteer Fire Department want to make sure that your celebration is a safe one. They say fire could strike, especially at this time of year. Fire officials stress that you can keep your kitchen safe by making sure ovens and stovetop burners are clean. Also, try to avoid cooking overnight and don't leave the kitchen unattended.
What we're trying to do is make the public aware of what can happen. Most of them hopefully already know or are already thinking about these things, but we're just reminding them and helping to bring the message out that they need to be careful while they're in the kitchen.
Firefighters also encourage folks to purchase a fire extinguisher and make sure you know how to use it. They say water only makes a grease fire worse. Thousands of people stood in line in the small town of Carlisle, Iowa.
And what do you think they wanted to see? Well, you'll be surprised to find out. That's coming up when Newswatch Sunrise returns. But first, here's today's Focus on the Family.
Take this scenario. You have 2 tennis players of equal skill and talent. Both are at the top of their game, yet one consistently comes out the winner. What makes the difference? Well, I've seen the dynamic at work time and time again, and in fact, I've lived it. I played tennis in high school, and my key rival in the neighboring town was a boy named Saldana. I spent my entire senior year preparing for what I knew would be a showdown match. Then in the spring, I met him in the semifinals of the district championship. I won the first set 6-love and was leading 5-3 in the second. All I needed to win the match was 2 points, 2 lousy points. At that moment, I looked across the net and thought to myself, this guy's the top-ranked player in the district. What am I doing? My confidence wavered for just a moment, and that's all it took to turn the tide. Saldana saw his chance, and before I knew it, he had taken the match and went on to win the championship. What made the difference there? I clearly had the ability to come out on top, but I lacked the confidence to do it. Sportscasters call it momentum. But what it really boils down to is believing in yourself, regardless of the odds against you. It's called confidence, and it holds the key to success or failure in life's many challenges. And by the way, if you're out there, Saldana, I demand a rematch. With Focus on the Family, I'm Dr. James Dobson.
Traffic Cam is brought to you by Champion Windows, Sidings, and Patio Rooms, helping to make your house a little more like home.
Silverado. It has a more powerful V8 engine than Dodge Ram and Ford F-150. It has a bigger extended cab. And it's the only pickup with 4-wheel anti-lock disc brakes standard on every model. It's the truck, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Silverado, the truck from Chevrolet.
People's Furniture and Mattress Outlet. How easy can it get?
Now's the time to shop People's Furniture and Mattress Outlet for great savings and 12 months free financing. People's has a terrific selection of curios starting at just $199.95. Save 30 to 50% on beautiful flex steel recliners. Or get a jump on your holiday shopping with cozy glide rockers as low as $199.95. Save 40 to 60% on famous Sealy mattresses and all with 12 months free financing. Great savings and free financing for 1 full year. Only at People's Furniture and Mattress Outlet.
You need to do your Christmas shopping, but you're short of cash. Then come into Keister's. You can buy something for everyone on your Christmas list and lay it away with only $1 down. That's right, $1 down. Keister's makes it easy to buy toys, tools, and housewares. Lay them away and pick them up as late as December 24th. So why wait to do your Christmas shopping? Come into Keister's today, but don't forget your dollar.
It's fall, and you know what that means. Leaves. So what are you going to do with all of them? Well, we can't throw leaves and other yard waste in landfills anymore. We can't dump them. We can't burn them. But we can compost them. Composting is an easy and environmentally friendly way to get rid of leaves this fall. To learn more about composting and other ways to handle yard waste, call us for more information. In the Evansville area, call the Cooperative Extension Service at 435-5287.
Happy Monday, 5:55 and 51 balmy degrees for this time of year. Well, thousands of people gathered at a house in Iowa to tour what will be the McCoy family home.
It's reported that about 700 people an hour took the free 10-minute tour of the 7-bedroom, 4.5 bathroom, 15-closet home. Most who signed the guest book were reportedly from central Iowa, although some came from as far away as Ontario, Canada. Bobby and Kenny McCoy became the parents of the world's first living set of septuplets a year ago. Scores of businesses and residents contributed materials, services, money, and land to build them a new home. The McCoys held a housewarming as a show of thanks. They were actually on Oprah. I think it was last week. I think it was Thursday or Wednesday. I can't remember which one. That house is absolutely amazing, and compared to the small home they're in now.
Oh yeah, I think it's huge, but still, 7 little ones running around. Gonna be wild in there too.
Sure. Well, still to come this morning, we'll kick off the holiday season courtesy of the USI Madrigal Singers.
All 44 of them, at least that's the count we've got. They'll be live in our studio. That's later as Newswatch Sunrise continues, so stay with us.
This portion of Newswatch is brought to you by your local Good Neighbor Pharmacy.
Can you help me find the vitamin section?
I'm on a break right now.
Where are the vitamins? Sorry, that isn't my department.
Come to the store where you're always treated like a neighbor. Good Neighbor Pharmacy. Come to Good Neighbor Pharmacy for a Tylenol College Scholarship application. And check out our price on Tylenol Children's Chewable Tablets. Now only $2.59 each. For a Good Neighbor Pharmacy near you, call toll-free 1-888-GNP-STORE.
You've seen commercials showing how fast Tarnex removes tarnish from a spoon. Now, we're introducing better than ever, safer than ever Tarnex that cleans your entire sterling silver or silver plate dinnerware all at once and instantly. Just place them in Tarnex, remove, thoroughly wash, and dry. Reformulated Tarnex works instantly on the most intricately designed sterling, silver plate and gold platters, trays and dishes. It works just as fast on copper pots and pans. Wonderful for silver rings, bracelets, buckles, and earrings. And it's guaranteed to be the fastest and easiest sterling, silver plate, gold, platinum, and copper cleaner you've ever used, or return to place of purchase for a full refund.
When you start comparing healthcare plans, it seems as though you're comparing apples to apples, when in reality you may not be. The Sagamore Healthcare Network offers straightforward, innovative healthcare plan solutions. Solutions that over 90,000 local residents rely upon. Pick the plan that includes your area physicians and hospitals like St. Mary's Healthcare Services. Pick Sagamore Healthcare Network. Caring, compassionate, cost-effective. That's our mission. It's what your healthcare plan should be.
You're watching WFIE, NBC 14.
Story, the UN demands more document on Iraq's banned weapons, but Iraqi officials say they don't have any more.
Today, officials will begin recounting votes in Vanderbilt County's assessor's race.
And coming up, there could be a merger in the works between America Online and Netscape.
Live, local, late-breaking. This is Newswatch 14 Sunrise.
Good morning. It is Monday, November 23rd, 1998. I'm Christy Bullard.
And I'm Dan Katz. We'll check in with meteorologist Byron Douglas in just a moment.
But first this morning, it's looking more and more like a U.S. military strike on Iraq could become a reality. We'll have more details coming up in just a moment. Dan?
And we'll have a special preview of a concert to kick off the holiday season with the USI Madrigal singers. All 44 of them, we're told, will be live in our studio later in this half hour. Christy?
Should be lots of fun, and we're going to get the holiday week cooking with some tips on making sure that you'll have the perfect turkey Thanksgiving Day. Chef Terry Wolf from Wolf's Barbecue is going to be here with some tips. That is later on in our 6:30 half hour. Plus, Alan Toomey takes us to Ohio County, Kentucky to meet a couple whose ancestors fought in the Civil War on opposite sides, and that's in his Toomey's Travels. Plus, we have your chance to win some tickets to see Tap Dogs, and that's in about 30 minutes.
Wow, action-packed hour ahead, it sounds like. And the weather's not bad to start off the week.
No, it's not.
Or to end the month.
If you have your turkey outside, it's going to be warm. Temperature's well above normal. It's normal for this time of year. It's supposed to be at 52. We're going to start out with some sunshine, some clouds increasing throughout the day. The high up to 62. Warm for tomorrow, but what about for Thanksgiving? I'll give you a good look at the extended outlook here in a few moments.
Okay, Byron. Topping our news this morning, Iraq doesn't appear to be on its best behavior just a week after they agreed to let UN weapons inspectors back in the country.
A leading Republican senator says we better prepare for an attack. Indiana Senator Richard Lugar says this is the only choice the United States has, referring to Iraq's latest act of defiance. This time, it's over demands by weapons inspectors to see more documents about Iraq's outlawed weapons programs. Saddam Hussein's government claims it's handed over everything relevant and that the newly requested documents don't exist. UN envoy is off to Baghdad in the midst of this latest dispute. Iraq's UN ambassador says his country will answer the Security Council's questions about the matter. The Secretary General has sent his special envoy to Iraq, but as the envoy left Bahrain today, he refused all comment on the latest uproar. A court hearing regarding the fatal dorm fire at Murray State was supposed to have been held today. However, it has been postponed. Commonwealth Attorney Mike Ward filed for an extension last week. More time is needed to gather evidence. Ward also says he expects some of those indicted to do an about-face and testify for the prosecution, but he would not say if that was a cause for the delayed proceedings. The September 18th arson began on the 4th floor of Hester Hall and killed one and seriously injured another. Former Murray State student Frederick McGrath has been indicted for capital murder. The new court date is December 14th. The funeral mass for the 3 Indianapolis fire victims is scheduled for this afternoon.
5-year-old Rosie Alvarado and her 9-year-old sister Alexandra died in the fire at their home last week. Their mother, Lourdes, died Friday from injuries that she'd received in the blaze. She'd been in critical condition at Wisher Memorial Hospital's burn unit. The fire destroyed the house on Indianapolis's near south side. It's still not known what sparked the fire at the family's home. Now a Decision 98 follow-up. A 3-member commission will begin inspecting the ballots in the Vanderburgh County Assessor's race today. Last week, Vanderburgh Circuit Judge Carl Helt ordered the recount and appointed the commission to oversee the project. Ray Hamner and county Democrats say that race was so close they want to take a good look at the ballots. Republican incumbent Cheryl Musgrave beat Hamner by just a 20-vote margin. The recount commission will be inspecting the 52,000 ballots one at a time. Indiana law says the recount must be finished by December 20th. The State Board of Elections is set to meet today to make it official, but a second check of the Kentucky U.S. Senate race reveals it was a real nail-biter.
Yeah, the recanvass shows Republican Jim Bunning won the race by fewer than 6,800 votes. According to new figures released by the Secretary of State, Bunning received 49.7% of the total. Democrat Scotty Bassler received 49.1%. The rest of the votes went to Reform Party candidate Charles Arbogast. Bassler asked for the recanvass following his narrow loss to Bunning on November 3rd. Well, the Tri-State loves parades so much it couldn't even wait for Thanksgiving to have a Christmas parade. Even though the turkey hasn't yet been thawed, downtown Evansville seems to be deep in the heart of the spirit of the season. On Sunday, Evansville's 10th annual Christmas parade helped ring in the holiday cheer. Center City Corporation organizes the parade, and members figure with more than 100 floats and groups, this was their biggest parade yet. Each year, the Tri-State Food Bank counts on folks to bring canned goods for the parade for donations. And bringing up the rear of this year's parade in Greg Stillwell's Ford convertible was part of the Sunrise crew. There's Noah and Jonah Katz as well. Noah's in the front seat trying to reach the accelerator.
He's driving.
And there's Greg Stillwell, his son, and we had a good time there, and it was fun.
Your boys, I swear,
Yeah,
they're pistols.
They were a little wild. They you know.
But I've learned Noah's the one that has the ants in his pants. He always wants to move around. Jonah's a little calmer.
Yeah, but see, they're not used to not wearing seat belts, and there's no seat belts in those Ford convertibles, so they were like all over the place, you know.
Front, back, over to my lap, Dan's lap, up, back in the front again.
Normally they're buckled in and restrained.
And Byron couldn't make it this year because he was what? You were at the Oaken Bucket, right?
was out of town.
Yeah,
for that.
A lot of yelling, I'm sure.
Oh, sure. That's a big rivalry. Lots of big rivalries.
But you have a voice. That's a good
That's
thing.
right. I lost part of it. I was up there with one of our photographers, Fetch. We had a good time.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yes.
Anything you can tell us about?
Well, we won. That's all that matters. I'm going to show you some snow video. I mean, a lot of folks would like snow, like Christy.
I would love to have some snow.
I know, some colder weather and snow and things like that, but mainly confined to areas out to the west in California, the Sierra Nevadas. Lots of snow, all part of the system we were telling you about with all the moisture coming in the Pacific Northwest. Started out with rain, but as it got up into the mountains, as it started to go over the Rocky Mountains in those areas, it turned over into some snow. Traveling not too bad into, you can see it was slushy there, but you break out this snowboards and skiing and things like that, and people directing traffic and helping out. That's always nice. And it was a big wet snow, so that's pretty, it's heavy, but well, folks can move about that stuff. Not too bad out there. 48, Cynthia Rooney with some clouds over sections of Henderson. Here's the storm team forecast. We'll start out with some sunshine early. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. The high will be up to 62. And then for tonight, we'll cloud over and stay cloudy, and then some clearing late, down to about 40. For Tuesday, mostly sunny and mild as a cold front works through. It'll just kind of shift the winds. A northwest wind at 5 to 10. Around the region right now, Evansville's at 52, 57 in Indy, 55 in Paducah. A few clouds are working up from areas down to the south, but we mainly clear skies, 55 in Bowling Green and 53 in St. Louis. Normal for this time of year is at 52. We'll be about 10 better than that for today. We haven't had a lot of freezing around here. The record's 76 from 1967. We'll be safe. Nothing in the rain gauge, maybe just a few sprinkles for tonight in places, but really no accumulation. As far as precipitation goes, some snow mixed in with some rain up in Marquette, Michigan, and then down in portions of Alabama. All rain down there in Dothan and northern sections of into Panama City. And you can see some of the moisture as it gets up into Mount Shasta, the Sierra Nevadas, changing over to snow, dumping a wet snow in some of those areas. This area, low pressure, will start to break down a little bit. With winds out of the south today, out in advance of the cold front, temperatures will be well above normal. As the front works on through, it's not going to bring in a lot colder air. So you can see from the extended outlook, a 64 on Tuesday with more sunshine, a 59 on Wednesday, and then a 54 on Thursday. We're working with the earliest possible information, so things could change a little bit for Thanksgiving. That was running for office or something.
Yeah, that was a politically correct.
At least on the early information, Wednesday we're looking at some rain, all rain, no snow.
That is good news.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Well, Miss Blizzard over here. We'll get one soon enough.
Just a nice, soft, white blanket of snow. I don't want a blizzard.
One maybe in January. I can live with that. All right.
Well, our sunrise snapshot is sent in by Luke and Deb. Is it Reese? I think it's probably Reese. Rice. I'm sorry, Luke and Deb Rice.
I think that name can be
from
pronounced
Evansville.
both ways, I think, sometimes.
And this is a picture of a balloon in the sky taken from their home. Very pretty.
Yes, a very nice shot. Thank you very much for the snapshot. If you'd like to send one to us, the address, Sunrise Snapshot, care of Newswatch 14, PO Box 1414, Evansville, 47701. We showed on the air, you won a Sunrise biscuit from Hardee's. Well, we all feel tired or worn out at one time or another when we're at work, right?
Yeah, yes. Understatement. And now it seems that there's a reason your job may be making you sick. We'll have the details still to come when Newswatch Sunrise continues for Junction and Fairfield, Illinois.
This portion of Newswatch Sunrise is brought to you by Sun Optical. Visit our new location in Lloyd Crossing.
Sun Optical is at it again. Right now, get eyeglass examinations for $15. Sun Optical has a large selection of quality frames and lenses with competitive prices and service that is second to none. We will not settle for second best and always save you money. When it comes to eye care, we care. Time is running out. Don't miss your chance. $15 eye exams only at Sun Optical.
Visit Sun Optical's new convenient location here at Lodge Crossing. And remember, no games, no gimmicks, just great service.
Now's the time to shop People's Furniture and Mattress Outlet for great savings and 12 months free financing. People's has a terrific selection of curios starting at just $199.95. Save 30 to 50% on beautiful flex steel recliners. Or get a jump on your holiday shopping with cozy glide rockers as low as $199.95. Save 40 to 60% on famous Sealy mattresses and all with 12 months free financing. Great savings and free financing for 1 full year. Only at People's Furniture and Mattress Outlet.
The worldwide smash hit, Spirit of the Dance, comes to beautiful River Park Center December 14th and 15th. Audiences are cheering and the critics are calling Spirit of the Dance a show truly in the footsteps of Riverdance. Tickets now on sale for Spirit of the Dance at River Park Center or charged by phone. By the way, you still have time to buy the 3-show package. Spirit of the Dance, the ultimate swing of the Count Basie Orchestra in March, and the only area appearance of David Copperfield in April.
Live from the Tri-States News Leader, this is Newswatch 14 Sunrise with Dan Katz, Christy Bullard, and meteorologist Byron Douglas.
Good Monday morning to you, 611 busy Lloyd Expressway there, 51 degrees. Well, at some point today, America Online and Netscape may announce their marriage plans.
But don't look for Bill Gates to be breaking out the champagne. The matchup is rumored to have AOL endorsing Netscape's web browser and supporting Netscape's website. The new alliance could propel Netscape back to the top of market share it once enjoyed. News of the acquisition will not be welcomed at Bill Gates' Microsoft, who competes with both companies. Russian President Boris Yeltsin has been hospitalized for what doctors describe as pneumonia. Officials say Yeltsin was rushed to the hospital with a high fever and is being treated with antibiotics. It's the latest health crisis for the 67-year-old Russian leader who's rarely been seen in public in recent weeks. The Kremlin says despite his illness, Yeltsin is still working while he's in the hospital. Well, there's confirmation today of something that you might have long suspected. Your job might be making you sick.
Yes, it seems that different jobs often have the same problem, job strain. A new study says repetitive jobs without decision may increase blood pressure and affect the working of the heart. The study says the highest risk jobs are middle line managers, there we go, clerical staff, waiters and waitresses, and customer service operators. And the way to lower job strain is job rotation, participant, I think I just saw a little job strain there, and participation in decision making, and learning new skills. Something to think about, huh?
It is.
Will yesterday's spring-like temperatures stay with us through Thanksgiving?
Meteorologist Byron Douglas has the answer on the Storm Team forecast. That comes up next. But first, here's a look at last night's winning lottery numbers.
This portion of Newswatch is brought to you by Strictly Shooting, located behind Evansville Chrysler.
Nothing takes chance out of the equation like a Liberty Safe, on sale now at Strictly Shooting. With 1-inch Easy Glide bolts, double fire protection, and a custom-designed gun interior. The Liberty FG22, now with 50% savings, is the world's most affordable, high-quality gun safe. If you own a gun and have children, safety and peace of mind are just a phone call away. Lockdown savings of 50% with the Liberty Safe, Available at Strictly Shooting, 225 North Stockwell Road behind Evansville Chrysler.
Check it out. McDonald's tasty hamburgers are only 29 cents on Wednesdays. Cheeseburgers are only 39 cents on Sundays. Enjoy your burger with fries and a Dr. Pepper.
Did somebody say McDonald's? Dad, why don't we have a computer?
Oh, why don't we have a computer? Why don't we have a dolphin? That's an early computer, huh? Isn't it? Huh? Or this?
The Pure Intel technology and exceptional value of the Celeron processor with Best Buy prices put computers well within reach.
Computers can't do this, can they?
And now get a $100 mail-in rebate on any Intel processor-based computer at Best Buy. So, what are you waiting for?
All right, then.
The holiday season comes wrapped in tradition, a time for family and friends, a time for special savings at Beeler's Bilo. Beeler's Deli takes the fuss out of the festivities with a large selection of distinctive and delectable party trays. Beeler's brings you sweet savings on custom decorated cakes and fresh baked creations. And for tasteful gift giving, let Beeler's design a gift basket filled with fruits, nuts, anything you choose. We're proud to be part of your holiday tradition. Beeler's Bilo.
Quarter after 6 on this Monday morning. Look at that. It is 51 degrees right now. Very warm for the end of the month of November.
Yeah, it's rather incredible. I kind of like it. You know me. I like the warmer temperatures.
And it's,
So do I.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I mean, it's not too bad, and
It's
especially
that
with the
in-between
holidays.
stuff. If we're going to have some snow, let's do it right.
There's still plenty of time. We're still a month away from winter, for
That's
goodness
true.
sake. So.
That's right. But it's still mild late fall. We've been calling it Indian Summer Part 2. I mean, it's the second big warm-up. And we're looking at high today up in the lower 60s, even tomorrow behind the front. Live exclusive traffic cam. We've had some business already on the Lloyd Expressway. No accidents coming in from state police across areas of Indiana, Illinois, and Kentucky. Continue to work on Carter Road over in portions of Owensboro and Riverside and Pollock. They're working on that area near US 41. They will finish that project hopefully by the end of the month. We're doing some paving and striping out in those areas. High temperatures today will be up in the 60s as winds will swing out of the south, which will elevate our temperatures nicely, continue above normal. Since last week, the 70s might come close. They are moving into sections of Oklahoma. And for us right now, we're at 52, up 1 degree, 57 up in Indianapolis, 55 in Paducah. Mainly everybody reporting clear skies with some clouds will start to stream up from the areas to the south as we progress through the morning. Clear record down in Morton's Gap has 50. On the satellite picture, you can see we have clear skies mainly right now, but some clouds will work in mainly from the west and up from the south. Some stubborn low-level clouds, which will dim our sunshine a little bit and keep our temperatures from really running, possibly in the mid to upper 60s. Although this is going to be a dry front, most of the moisture, still some snow mixed in with mainly just rain now in northern Michigan and some rain covering most of Alabama. Snow is starting to weaken in portions of California and Oregon. But still some snow as you go up into Mount Hood, and then up into Mount Shasta and Mount Whitney and northern sections of California. As the front gets a little bit closer, the winds will pick up and that elevate our temperatures into the 60s. Behind the front, there's not a lot of cold air that's going to work into the tri-state. So as the front works on through, high pressure will be back in control. Storm team forecast, skies generally will become mostly cloudy, the high up to 62. And then for tonight, mostly cloudy, a low down to 40, sundown at 4:34. And then for Tuesday, mostly sunny and mild, high temperature up to 64. As that's as powerful as the front's going to get into fall and winter, oh, it's going to be nice. And there's a 59 on Wednesday for traveling, all rain, 54 for Turkey Day, at least right now under dry conditions. Dan and Christy, not too bad.
No, you've done very well, Myron. So far.
So far.
Still got a few days,
I know.
right?
You'll be watching, Dan.
Oh, yeah, we will. All right, let's have a birthday party now on Newswatch Sunrise. Birthday wishes to Skip Sandifer of Henderson, who is 31. Have a great day, Skip.
We send our wishes out to Whitney Warsdorfer. She's 13 from Evansville. Obviously a lot younger here in this picture. Look at those rosy cheeks.
Yeah, looks like a newborn right there.
It looks like they have blush on her cheeks. Look how rosy they are.
Cute. Tammy Ennis is 26. Happy birthday to you, Tammy.
Dana Hale is 40. Have a great birthday, Dana.
Kaylee Orth of Evansville is 4, and Queen for a day, perhaps. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to Benjamin Richardson. He's 7 from Evansville. Hope you have a great day, Benjamin.
Clem Weiss of Evansville celebrating 84th birthday there. Happy birthday, Clem. Amber Beckner of Evansville is 5, and Roger Nelson, 49, and holding from Evansville. Happy birthday to you. And if you'd like to pass along a birthday to the Tri-State, birthdays, P.O. Box 1414, Evansville, 47701.
The sounds of the season have arrived here on Newswatch Sunrise.
Yeah, this is a record, folks. So we'll hear a preview of the USI Madrigal Singers, all 44 of them, just ahead when we return. So don't go away.
Traffic Cam is brought to you by Bridal Warehouse, where elegance and bargains share the same name.
For nearly half a century, Newswatch 14 has been a proud member of the tri-state community and your first choice for local news, covering events that shape your world, bringing you news accurately and immediately for the best local coverage on air and online. Now and into the next millennium, turn to Newswatch 14, the tri-state's news leader.
To see a bit of what makes Dodge Intrepid fast, let's cut to the quick. It has a sparkling 200 horsepower gem of an aluminum engine, grippy independent suspension, crisp steering, and a highly functional driving space. Intrepid demonstrates a lot of powerful thinking, no matter how you slice it. Well equipped, $20,495.
Every physician in the Deaconess Health Partners Network is credentialed according to the strictest standards in the managed care industry, which means before they examine you,
Dr. Page?
we examine them.
The doctors will see you now.
For more information about Deaconess Health Partners, call 1-800-374-8993.
Good Monday morning to you, 6:21 and 52 degrees. Welcome back to Newswatch Sunrise. USI's Madrigal Singers are set to host their 29th annual holiday feast in a couple of weeks. The feast features a meal and entertainment from England's medieval times, roast meat and hasty pudding, jugglers, jesters, and carolers to add to the fun. And here with a musical preview is Daniel Craig, director of the USI Concert Choir, along with, I guess, 44 or so of your singers here, right?
This is USI Chamber Choir from University of Southern Indiana. We're happy to be here this morning.
Well, I must say you've set a record for the most folks in the studio on any particular sunrise in the history of the show, so congratulations about that. But anyway, tell us a little about the event, and it's been going on for a long time. What is the appeal?
This is our 29th year, and this is a reenactment of a medieval feast set in the 15th century. And what we have here is a group of singers that would typically gather around a table after a feast and sing songs of love and chivalry, and then music from the holiday season. It's a fantastic event set in Carter Hall at USI, and we're just really excited about it this year.
Theme this year is what?
Well, the theme this year is a bit of a murder mystery as well as a Christmas feast. Someone is trying to dethrone the king, and the audience gets to have a little bit of choice in who is the culprit this year. And so they will vote, and then we will let them see what the end result is. But we're also doing lots of music that we will be singing in our European tour in May, so it's a real fine event.
Okay, there are some tickets left for the event, right?
Yes, especially on Thursday and Sunday evening. We have lots of tickets available. Friday night and Saturday night are already sold out.
A lot of folks make this a tradition, don't they?
Yes, we've got so many people that have been here for 29 years that they come every year religiously, and this is a fantastic way to start off your Christmas season.
Well, let's start off with a little music here. What are you going to perform?
This is a piece of music by Donato. It is a traditional English madrigal called All Ye Who Music Love.
Sounds great. Take it away. Thanks a lot, guys. Nice. Okay, go ahead and give us another one there.
One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere in the year. Oh, how they come, ring in the sound, go hill and dip, tell it hill. Give me the ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Merry, 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 here's a come. Merry, 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 here's a come. Ding, dong, they send, dong, when I send, then jingle, tum, jingle, every home. Rock on the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to sing.
Reserve your tickets, 465-7047 for the USI Madrigal Feast. Thanks very much to the University of Southern Indiana Madrigal Ensemble. And we'll be right back.
Getting involved with a rescue
God, you smell good.
got her involved in his life.
Who's she? She's his fiance.
And really involved with... Welcome to the family. His brother. You're cheating on a vegetable. Sandra Bullock, Bill Pullman.
I didn't mean for this to happen.
Who are you? While You Were Sleeping, 8/7 Central, NBC Tonight. Then...
She needed a kidney. What she got was a miracle. A kidney from a woman drawn to her by the power of prayer. A story of faith and friendship. Dateline Monday on NBC.
It's not just about planning. It's about living. It's about offices nearby, where long-term relationships outweigh short-term gains. At Edward Jones, it's never just about investing. It's about knowing you and your dreams.
It all begins with a dream. My dream, my world.
Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
Watching WFIE, NBC 14. Live, local, late breaking. This is Newswatch 14 Sunrise.
And good morning again. Thanks for joining us. It's Monday, November 23rd, 1998. I'm Dan Katz.
And I'm Christy Bullard. We will get you caught up on the news in just a moment. But first, let's check in with Storm Team meteorologist Byron Douglas for a look at that forecast. It's feeling a lot like Christmas here in the studio right now.
As it certainly is.
Yeah, everybody fired up. Boy, that'll get you in the spirit, won't it?
Yes, but it feels more like spring out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, temperatures in the 50s. I mean, this is what our normal high should be right now during the afternoon. Of course, temperatures are at 52 degrees. Storm Team forecast will see an influx of clouds today. The high temperature will be up to 62. And sun coming up at 6:39. 2 chances to win, 2 tickets, 2 chances. We're playing Tap Dog Trivia. The Tap Dogs will present a special show at Eastland Mall on Tuesday at 3. We're going to be there. Sunrise Crew. When did the Eastland Mall first open? 79, 81, or 89? I was talking about the Purdue football team. It was also the year that the Indiana basketball team won their 4th title. See?
Okay.
All right.
We'll think about that.
That was a hint.
Thank you, Byron. In the news this morning, Iraq doesn't appear to be on its best behavior just a week after they agreed to let UN weapons inspectors back into the country.
A leading Republican senator says we better be prepared for an attack. Indiana Senator Richard Lugar says this is the only choice the United States has, referring to Iraq's latest act of defiance. This time it's over demands by weapons inspectors to see more documents about Iraq's outlawed weapons programs. Saddam Hussein's government claims it's handed over everything relevant and that the newly requested documents do not exist. A UN envoy is off to Baghdad in the midst of this latest dispute. Iraq's UN ambassador says his country will answer the Security Council's questions about the matter. The Secretary General has sent his special envoy to Iraq, but as the envoy left Bahrain today, he refused all comment on the latest uproar. Closer to home, there's a program underway, and its goal is to keep Indiana's roads safe this holiday season. It's called Operation Pullover. A state grant pays for the program, which allows Vanderbilt County Sheriff's deputies to work overtime so they can look out for speeders and drunk drivers. The Sheriff's Department says if anyone gets pulled over, most likely you won't be getting a warning, you'll be getting a ticket. Operation Pullover runs until December 5th. Sheriff's departments in every Indiana county will also be taking part in Operation Pullover as well. Officers will also be keeping their eyes out for folks who aren't buckled up.
The Transportation Department is kicking off a national seatbelt campaign today with help from officers in all 50 states. The week-long campaign is targeting motorists who don't wear seatbelts and who also don't have their kids buckled up. Police will be issuing tickets, increasing their patrols, and setting up checkpoints to enforce seatbelt laws. A majority of Americans, about 69%, do buckle up. However, the government says 6 out of 10 kids who died in car crashes last year weren't wearing their seatbelts. Kentucky U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell will attend the opening of the Planters Tobacco Warehouse in Owensboro this morning. This is the first day of the 1998 Burley sale season, and it begins today. Over 600 million pounds of Burley tobacco is expected to be sold this season by Kentucky farmers. The market is scheduled to run through February 26th. Keeping the heat out of the kitchen during the holiday season.
This is time for family and friends to get together and celebrate. So here's some advice to make this a safe holiday season. Folks at the German Township Volunteer Fire Department say fire could strike especially at this time of year. Fire officials stress that you can keep your kitchen safe by making sure ovens and stovetop burners are clean. Also, try to avoid cooking overnight and don't leave the kitchen unattended.
To do is make the public aware of what can happen. Most of them hopefully already know or are already thinking about these things, but we're just reminding them and helping to bring the message out that they need to be careful while they're in the kitchen.
Firefighters also encourage folks to purchase a fire extinguisher and make sure you know how to use it. They say water only makes a grease fire worse. Well, it turns out a tri-state town is one of the best places to live in the Hoosier State. Jasper made the list of the top 5 small towns in Indiana. Coming in second was Madison, followed by Berne, Rensselaer, and Crawford. The towns were picked by interviewing residents who live there, plus measuring things like unemployment and crime rates. And of course, Jasper right here in our viewing area, a very beautiful town.
Oh, yes, it is.
And good old Rensselaer. I used to corn to tassel there. Way back when.
You corned and tasseled.
I corned and tasseled in Rensselaer. You know, the Chicago Bears for many years had training camp in Rensselaer.
Really?
That's right. They figured their team couldn't get into trouble into that small town.
Corn tasseling, one of the toughest jobs,
I did
Byron.
that
I'm
too.
very
I did that.
Job
Yeah,
too.
we used to, out of Valparaiso, take a bus down about 45 minutes into Rensselaer.
I think I made $1.13 an hour doing that. It was, and I did it for, I lasted 4 days.
$2.65.
Well, see, I did it a long time ago.
Yeah,
I mean, back before they even had corn.
That was fun.
I applaud you guys. I never did that.
I did
we had corn fights and stuff like that.
It was tough. I mean, I only lasted 4 days and quit. I couldn't handle it.
See, my parents wouldn't let me. So.
You had to stick it out,
I had to stick it out.
Anyway, I don't know how we got on that.
No, not working now for a living, of course.
Yeah, now we're into corny business, I think, sometimes. But
all right, let's take a look at the weather for today. We are going to warm up. Congratulations to all those towns, especially Jasper. Here's a look at what temperatures look like right now here in the tri-state. We were looking at the 50s. That's the normal for today is at 52. We'll be well above that. You can see that 48 in Huntingburg, 55 in Madisonville, and 52 in Fairfield. Scanning out 350 miles, all quiet. Maybe a few sprinkles tonight with the front moving on through, but mainly we'll just have a few clouds around. Some sun early. As you look down to the south, a few clouds will start to stream in through the morning hours, the high up to 62. And then for tonight, mostly cloudy, a low down to 40. And then for tomorrow, mostly sunny and mild. The high temperature will be up to 64. Winds will swing out of the northwest at 5 to 10. Extended outlook, there's a 59 on Wednesday, at 54 for Turkey Day. All the precipitation on Wednesday in the form of rain, even out 350 miles if you're traveling regionally. What do you think on this one? I gave a hint. Indiana won their 4th national championship during this year as we take a look at the Brainbuster. When did Eastland Mall
81.
open?
yeah, 81.
Yes.
81?
Okay. Can we
It's a
have
B,
that?
right?
That's right.
I don't think we're going to have the graphic, but it's 1981.
We're not going to have the graphic?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're getting it. We're getting it.
We're getting it
working
back.
on
We
it.
have, okay, we have some winners.
Impact Maintenance does it every time. There we go.
Kristen Gross, a winner, and Beth
Schumacher.
Schumacher, okay. A winner. 2 sets of 2. Okay, so the ladies calling in and winning today. We'll have another chance tomorrow, so we'll continue to give these tickets away here. It's a great performance.
Yeah.
We'll be at Eastland Mall on Tuesday.
All righty, tomorrow. Our Sunrise Snapshot this morning is sent in by Les Schmidt from Evansville. All righty,
Oh,
this
boy.
is a picture of Aunt Matilda, Uncle Claude, and Elmo P. Schmidt, Esquire, the Bloodhound. Now, this is Fetch's aunt and uncle. Fetch works here in our production department
Mike Fetcher,
on
yes.
Newswatch Sunrise. And they do this little comedy routine with their dog every year, apparently.
Now the whole tri-state knows about it.
That is a really, really, really funny picture.
That's a great shot. Thank you very much.
One of the
Schmitz?
best, I think, that I've seen yet here
Yeah,
on
one of
Newswatch
the best,
Sunrise.
definitely. Sunrise Snapshot, care of Newswatch 14, P.O. Box 1414, Evansville, 47701. We show your snapshot on the air. You want a sunrise biscuit from Hardee's.
Well, whether it's your first time cooking Thanksgiving dinner, like me, or if it's just a tradition at your home, we all need a little help once in a while.
We sure do, and that's why Chef Terry Wolf is here. He has some tips on making your Thanksgiving turkey moist and tender. Just ahead on Newswatch Sunrise, so stay with us.
This portion of Newswatch Sunrise is brought to you by Western Ribeye and Ribs, a tri-state tradition for over 20 years.
Just one taste is all. That's all it takes.
Just one taste is all it takes to know that Western Ribeye and Ribs serves the tri-state's finest food, like prime rib, smokehouse ribs, seafood, pasta, and our Supreme Angus beef collection. You can even create your own masterpiece with our famous salad bar. Enjoy a taste of perfection. Western Ribeye and Ribs, 1401 Bakey, just north of Roberts Stadium.
Good morning, a very nice morning in the tri-state. Welcome back to Newswatch Sunrise on this Monday morning. Well, Thanksgiving just 4 days away now. Can you believe it? Have you figured out how you're going to get the potatoes matched, the yams baked, and the turkey cooked just right so it's moist and tender?
Well, if you're not quite sure how to cook that big bird, Chef Terry Wolf of Wolf's Barbecue joins us this morning with some advice. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning.
Always nice to see you.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Good to see you
Thanks
this
for
morning.
being here. We always like it when you bring stuff in like this. That's for sure.
Well, first off, to get it, let's start from the very beginning. We want it to look just like this when it's finished, but before everything, you need to thaw that turkey. Can you give us some tips on that?
Absolutely. Of course, most of the turkeys that you get now are going to be frozen, so it needs to be thawed, and of course, the way to thaw that is under refrigeration. You really don't want to leave that sit out. A lot of people think, well, I'll just leave it sit out overnight or something. That's not good. You could get the bird could get bacteria growth on it. So you really want to thaw that under refrigeration.
Are there any
3 or 4 days probably in the refrigerator. Now, if you do have a little bit of ice left, you can put that under cold water and finish thawing that out like that. So that's not a problem.
So you need to get on it. You need to buy it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if you've got your turkey, you need to be thawing it right now.
Really?
If it's a frozen turkey, yeah.
Oh, does it matter how big it is? I mean, larger.
Well, obviously, the larger the turkey, the longer it's going to take. Now, once it does thaw, of course, it's been frozen, so it's going to be real good for several days after it thaws. So now, or even if you've started before now, that'd be real good.
Okay, so once you thaw it out, you need to clean up all of the mess, right?
Absolutely. A couple things when you have a turkey, most of them are going to come with giblets in them, and a lot of people, they really don't even give it much thought to that. So under this end of the turkey, there's a little flap, and you'll want to lift that up on your fresh turkey, and you'll find a little package of giblets in there, and then on this end, on the neck end here, and then on the opposite end, you're going to find a neck that's generally stuffed up into there. You want to make sure and get all of those giblets out of the turkey.
Now, you can't cook them with them in there, right?
No. Generally, the giblets are going to be packaged either in a plastic or some kind of a wax paper bag, so obviously
I do.
Your turkey's not going to be real good. So you certainly want to get those out of there.
Okay.
Pressure's on this year, Chris.
Yeah. So
Yes.
beyond that point, once you've got your turkey, all the giblets out, if you need to trim any fat or anything around the neck area off, or the tail, you'd like to trim that off.
Okay.
Then you want to get it in your baking pan and then clean up your area real good that you've just been working on. Wash your hands real good so that you don't have any contamination from the turkey.
Now, the toughest part of turkey, obviously, is to get it to taste moist, tender, juicy. You've got a special method, don't you?
Well, there are a lot of different ways. I suppose I'd hate to compete with all the ladies out there who've been fixing turkeys all these years.
You make your living on
you're
stuff
Chef
like this,
Terry Wolf, remember?
Well, there are a couple of real nice methods if you want a real moist turkey. If you're going to trim the turkey off the bone before it ever reaches the dinner table, a real nice way to do it would be the breast side down. By doing it that way, all of the juices, as they continue to together, drain into that breast, and it'll just make it extremely moist. Turkey bags are very nice. They'll hold in a lot of the moisture.
And they make it cooks faster when you use a turkey bag.
A turkey bag will hold that moisture in. Obviously, what happens is when you're holding that moisture in, the moisture itself begins to cook, and it heats at a faster rate than obviously just the turkey meat would. So it will help it cook just a little bit faster, yes.
This is golden. It's absolutely beautiful. How did you get it to look this way? You obviously didn't cook this bird upside down, did you?
No, this has not been cooked upside down. Some of the turkeys that you get are self-basting, so they're going to be juicy anyway, and you're really not going to have much of a problem. This is basically cooked in an oven at 325. I generally like to put a piece of tin foil over part of the bird for about the first hour. This cooked for about 3.5 hours. And I'll take it off a little later in the process. That keeps you from getting burned up on your wing tips and the ends of your legs here.
Okay, did you use a pop-up thermometer on that, too?
Sorry.
Beg pardon? Yes, this one had a pop-up thermometer on it. That makes it very, very nice. If you don't have one of those, you don't have any kind of a thermometer, a good gauge to tell whether your turkey is done or not, if you look into the cavity, the back cavity of it, if the juices are starting to run very clear, then generally that's a good indicator. If you're still not sure, then you can take and cut under your wing and pull your wing apart and take a look and see how well done it is in there.
Well, we're out of time. Can we try it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And as we're heading out, just a quick yes or no, do you advise cooking the turkey with stuffing inside?
There's a real debate on that at this point in time, but...
it was a yes or no, but anyway.
Okay.
It's a real debate. It can cause some problems, so...
Yeah, well, they're saying right now it can, but I would I would go ahead and do it if you've done it.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's been hurt this far. So.
Okay.
Well, Terry,
Sounds
thanks
good.
a lot. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for coming in.
It looks lovely.
We will sample this, I can guarantee you.
Terry Wolf of Wolf's Barbecue. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, yesterday's spring-like temperatures continue through our Thanksgiving holiday. Meteorologist Byron Douglas has the answers coming up.
And let's top off that Thanksgiving meal with some freshly baked rolls, pull-apart rolls to be exact. Grab a piece of paper and something to write with for Mr. Food's recipe still to come. Stay with us.
The holiday season comes wrapped in tradition, a time for family and friends, a time for special savings at Beeler's Bilo. Beeler's Deli takes the fuss out of the festivities with a large selection of distinctive and delectable party trays. Beeler's brings you sweet savings on custom decorated cakes and fresh baked creations. And for tasteful gift giving, let Beeler's design a gift basket filled with fruits, nuts, anything you choose. We're proud to be part of your holiday tradition. Beeler's Bilo.
Tradition begins this Christmas at the Ellison Collection of Fine Jewelry at the north end of Stringtown Road in Evansville.
Newswatch Sunrise is brought to you in part by Wolf's Barbecue, the best barbecue since 1927, 6600 North 1st Avenue.
As Evansville continues to grow, so does a great taste and tradition of Wolf's Barbecue at the grand opening of our new East Side location, 3 blocks behind Sam's Club on Vogel Road. Same one-of-a-kind taste. Same mouth-watering daily specials. New convenient location between Green River Road and Burkhart. Visit one of Evansville's oldest barbecue restaurants with new Eastside convenience now open at 5636 Vogel Road. Call ahead for carryout or let us cater your summer party or company picnic. Wolf's Barbecue, a taste of family tradition.
I've been very good this year.
I worked hard and I helped around the house.
So I want a digital camera.
A 400 megahertz computer. DSS with 1 billion sports channels.
And a big screen TV. So what do you think?
The latest toys for big girls and boys. Best Buy. Now that's a great gift idea.
We've been really, really good this year. Just ask our kids.
Traffic Cam is brought to you by Town and Country Ford. More than you expected, everything you deserve.
As Christy eats turkey, it's 6:46, 52 degrees. Nice shot of the Ohio River there. You didn't want me to. You didn't want to have to do that. You wanted me to.
It is very good.
Yes, welcome back to Newswatch Sunrise. 4 days until Thanksgiving, but our table is just about set here. We just need some sweet potatoes and some cranberry sauce, I think.
Mashed potatoes, gravy. But we got the main part of the meal, the main component
course.
right here.
Yes, we do. Terry, thanks. Very nice.
Thanks,
very
Terry.
nice. He said he's going to leave it here. I wonder if we're going to have anybody able to eat it. I think
we're not going to let him take it.
I think they'll all be in here right after the show's over.
Yes. They're never out in the studio, except we have food in here. They swarm in here like, you know.
They sure do.
But I don't blame them. Anyway.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, it is just going to be a glorious Thanksgiving day, at least so far.
It's going to be a very nice week. No problems and no travel problems this morning as we take a look at our live exclusive traffic cam. Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois not reporting any accidents at this hour. Old Henderson Road is back open after some work. Old Henderson Road is back open. As I mentioned, they also will be finishing up Riverside at Pollock near US 41, and that should be all finished by the end of the month. The green light is on this morning. Temperatures look like this. With winds out of the south, they will elevate into the 60s really for the next couple days. Even though a front is working on through a cold front, it's not going to do a whole lot to our temperatures. Normal really for the afternoon for this time of year is at 52. We're already there. 57 up in Indy, 55 in Paducah. We do have some clouds that will start to stream in up from the south and then out from the west. So not a lot of warming from where we are now. We'll look at another 8 to 10 degrees or so as temperatures will work in the lower 60s until the front works on through. But we are going to start out with some sunshine. And it started out with some snow, but mainly all rain on northern sections of Michigan, down into Dothan, Alabama, in northern Florida, some rain down there. And the Pacific Northwest starting to take a break as well. And then some snow flurries up in Portland, up just to the south of Caribou, Maine. High pressure that was responsible for the nice weekend gliding off to the east, bringing winds out of the south, which is elevating our temperatures. The front works on through. You can see it's a nice little dry front. As it works on through, we'll be mainly just talking about a wind shift, and then high pressure will be back in control before we'll have a chance of rain on Wednesday. Things look dry for Thanksgiving. Storm team forecast, some sun early. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, the high up to 62. And then for tonight, mostly cloudy down to 40. Sundown early at 4:34. And mostly sunny and mild for Tuesday, high up to 64. That's nice. A 59 on Wednesday. Chance of rain. If you're doing any traveling, there should be rain for everybody. 54 on Thursday, unless you're going out into the Sierra Nevadas. That's where all the snow is, but pretty quiet even in the lower 48.
Not bad at all for traveling.
Okay, Byron, chow down, buddy.
Okay.
Let's move on to sports. If you like tense, nail-biting drama, then you would have loved Sunday's soccer action at USI. Lady Eagles soccer team was a win away from the NCAA Division II Final Four. All they had to do was get by Ashland in front of the home folks. To Strasweg Field for the action, and what a defensive battle this was. Both teams got their shots off. Ashland's Kim Dangle with the attempt, but Angie Grease comes up with a big save. No score after regulation. This one goes 5 periods. USI getting ready for double overtime. Shayna Stasak gets a foot on it. Grease can't get it. And the only breakdown of the defense all day cost the Lady Eagles a trip to the Division II Final Four. Ashland wins a heartbreaker 1-0, ending USI's season.
Yeah, it's been a great year. You know, it's been unbelievable. I think we surpassed what a lot of people thought about this team, and you know, it's been an awesome year, and we just need to, you know, to keep our heads up. You know, you don't always get the ball bouncing your way, and you know, it didn't happen today. We had the chances, but it just didn't go our way.
So the Eagles finish a great season at 18-3-1. The basketball aces will be winging their way for Hawaii this morning to play in an invitational, and they should feel pretty good about the way things are going. They were out to stay perfect against Sacred Heart on Sunday. Over 7,500 fans in the Roberts Stadium congregation. Marcus Wilson coming off a perfect shooting game against Tennessee Martin. He shares a wealth with Craig Snow. Turnaround jumper good. He had 13 points. Coach Jim Cruz likes what he sees, and he likes Marcus Wilson's performance. 19 points on the game. Kurt Begley inside because Wilson was not quite as hot as he was in the last game. Begley with a good game. Freshman Memorial grad Clint Keon also a career high, 17 points. He had 7 steals and 6 assists. The Aces win easily, 94-69. They're now 3-0 and will go to Hawaii for the invitational this morning. Purdue continues its winning way, surviving a scare against Lafayette, 72-67. Brian Cardinal led the way with 18 points. They head to Madison Square Garden in New York City to battle North Carolina in the semifinals of the NIT tournament. That comes up on Wednesday. Season also off to a nice start for the UE Lady Aces. They entered play at 500, looking to go 2-1. Kathy Bennett's squad entertained Belmont Sunday. The season is young, and so far everybody pretty happy, especially Shyla McKibben. She knows how to handle the ball down low. This 2 over 24 points. Shyla also added 11 rebounds. A team effort Sunday. Shinko Ono with the three-pointer. Lady Aces looking to run away with this one. Lisa Eckert with the easy 2. UE shoots 50% from the field to extinguish Belmont 92-59. They improve to 2-1. The USI Lady Eagles not so fortunate. They fall to West Texas A&M at the Disney Classic 67-58.
Nothing quite fills our homes than the smell of freshly baked bread. And we all want that with our Thanksgiving meal, but we don't always have the time to make fresh bread. Now we can do something even easier. Pull-apart rolls. Here's Mr. Food with the recipe.
The holiday countdown's begun, and the fridge is packed. But what about some fresh baked bread on any of the big days ahead? We don't always have time to run to the market last minute, but we've got better, hot, and homemade out of the oven. And it's so easy. You see, what we do is cut 2 one-pound loaves of thawed frozen bread dough from the market into 1-inch pieces. And we toss them into a bowl with a mixture we've made from 1/4 cup each of canola oil and chopped fresh parsley, 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese, and a ½ teaspoon each of thyme and onion powder. Now we place the dough into a sprayed 12-cup muffin tin, and we cover them for 40 minutes to let them rise to double in size. We pop them into a preheated 375 oven for about 25-30 minutes, or until they're golden brown. And done, that easily. Now, you better make an extra batch, because when these come hot out of the oven, they're bound to be tempted to sneak the first taste. Well, that aroma of fresh baked bread can't be beat. And it's perfect for any of the holidays or any time we want that comforting home-baked taste. And they're so incredibly soft. I mean, they pull apart and they make super dippers for soaking up our gravy. And it does the same thing when it's served along with a hearty bowl of soup or chili. And if you want it even simpler, melt some butter over them right before serving them. That way they can gobble them down quicker. Yeah, and if you'd like the recipe, you just send a self-addressed stamped envelope marked "Pull Apart Rolls" to me, Mr. Food, and we'll get it back to you for a no-fuss way to have them thinking that we baked all day. And the best part? For very little dough, we've got our very own bread basket, chock full of hero making. Oh, it's so good.
Is that good?
Oops.
Why don't I read while you chew?
Busted.
Don't choke.
I'm sorry.
A Beaver Dam couple creates a special memorial to the Civil War. And it seems their ancestors fought against each other in it. Alan Toomey takes us there when Newswatch Sunrise continues for Seabury and McHenry, Kentucky. Are you okay, Dan?
I don't know.
It's Shrine Circus time again, a time for kids of all ages. This year we have some of the world's youngest performers, like 12-year young April, the youngest trapeze artist, the Beaver Jugglers with Rebecca 6 and Austin 9, 13-year-old dog trainer Billy, and 4-year-old Nikki, the world's youngest performing elephant. It starts Thanksgiving Day, so get your tickets now at Roberts Stadium box office, the Hottie Shrine ticket office, all Schnook stores, and Ticketmaster locations. Or call 1-800-66-CLOWN. The Hottie Shrine Circus. Bring your kids to see our kids.
Mr. Food is brought to you by Beeler's Bilo.
Steak and Shake Genuine Chili is served in a variety of ways. This one has chili, spaghetti, extra chili beef, special sauce, chopped onions, cheddar, and Monterey Jack cheese, which is why we call it a 5-way.
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
When it suddenly occurs to you that you need to make a call, only Bell South Mobility works when and where you need it.
Hello? Hi, sweetie. I was just thinking of you.
Sign up now and get half-off access plus free weekend calling. Bell South Mobility. Life's calling. Why wait?
Global resources, right to your tank. Marathon, powering the American highways.
This portion of Newswatch 14 is brought to you by Edward Jones, with more than 120 years of experience helping individuals build financial security.
It's 6:56, 52 degrees. Looks pretty nice out there. It's a unique look at the Civil War through the eyes of a Beaver Dam, Kentucky couple.
In this week's Toomey's Travels, Alan takes us to Ohio County to meet a couple whose ancestors fought in the Civil War on opposite sides, and he'll tell you what they've done to commemorate the battle.
My great-grandfather and Beulah's grandfather was in the war, and she was on the south and I was on the north.
You ever fight about that?
No, we're neutral when it comes to this household, but sometimes it's good conversation.
Through the trees, past the old log cabin, Donald and Beulah Bray will take you straight into the Civil War. Behind their house, just outside Beaver Dam, Donald has built this 20-foot high, 50-foot wide battle scene. Every one of these 18 figures was handmade in concrete by Donald, who's found ways to work in the whole family.
This hair was here is my grandson's first haircut. So I took it and glued it on.
I had a haircut.
And Grandpa took your hair and put it out there? Donald's been interested in history and painting since he was 14, but had to retire from the coal mines before he had time for this.
Well, I just make them up and, yeah, and sometimes dream about them and get up and start painting on them.
He's been working on it for 2 years. Figures it'll be done about a year from now.
I think everybody needs a dream, and everybody needs to work toward that dream, and this was Donald's, and I encouraged him to do that. More so when it was started in my house, and I knew one of us had to leave.
Taping on a can.
So it left.
That old log cabin is another dream. Beulah and Donald moved it here in pieces from McHenry. Donald rebuilt it. Beulah furnished it with antiques, even a 100-year-old fiddle.
It doesn't look good.
Well, it can't be the player, can it? Must be a bad fiddle. Or a bow that doesn't work.
It's getting old.
History and family, alive and well in Ohio County, thanks to the Braves. In Beaver Dam, Alan Toomey, Newswatch 14.
And visitors have come as far away from Israel to see the Braves Civil War Museum, believe it or not. It looks like a neat place, huh?
It does look like a neat place. Well, as folks are at home eating their Cheerios, we're going to be chowing down on some turkey, aren't we?
That is good. Yeah, we're all drooling over here, waiting to eat this. But, plus, nice warm weather this week. Have a great day.
We hope to see you back here tomorrow. You're watching NBC 14 WFIE TV Evansville.
Good morning. Iraq's at it again. 1 week after it narrowly escaped a military strike, Iraq is refusing to hand over arms-related documents today, Monday, November the 23rd, 1998.
From NBC News, this is Today with Katie Couric and Matt Lauer, live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
And welcome to Today on this Monday morning, everyone. I'm Katie Couric.
And I'm Matt Lauer. The question is now whether this war of words will escalate into a much more dangerous type of war in the next few days.
That's right, Matt. Handing over relevant documents, of course, was one of the stipulations for no military action. Well, now the Iraqis claim you can't hand over what you simply don't have. We're going to be talking with former UN Weapons Inspector Scott Ritter about their latest claims this morning. Matt?
Do you have a stressful job? We'll tell you about the results of a new study that deals with the stress you face at the workplace and its impact on your health, and some of the findings may surprise you.
A very graphic display of Dr. Jack Kevorkian's work was on 60 Minutes last night as he actually killed a man suffering from Lou Gehrig's disease.
It was tough to watch.
It was very difficult. Through a lethal injection. It was on videotape. Well, what does that mean for Dr. Kevorkian legally? We'll examine that in our first half hour as well.
Mr. Bellis, can you give me a tight shot over here? Take a look at this. What do you think those are?
Teeth.
Those are not only teeth, those are George Washington's fake teeth. By the way, not made of wood, but ivory, lead base, and those are just part of the treasures from Mount Vernon, now on a national tour. We're going to show you some more of those a little later on.
Those are shiny choppers. Also, Barry Manilow, he writes the songs that make the whole world sing, but this morning he's going to sing the songs not of his own, but of Frank Sinatra. He's got a new CD out called Manilow Sing Sinatra, so he's here for a very special concert on a Monday morning, which will wake us all up.
It's a cold weather concert. We're going to do that, a little more of that this week.
And he said, what shall I do, Katie, if my nose starts to run while I'm singing? I told him I would supply the Kleenex. All right. So we're all looking forward to that, as well as everyone outside. But first, we want to head to the news desk and get the latest headlines and news from Ann Curry. Ann, good morning.
Good morning to you, Katie and Matt. Good morning, everybody. The latest dispute with Iraq is before the UN Security Council today. Over the weekend, Iraq refused to hand over documents requested by Chief Weapons Inspector Richard Butler, saying the documents do not exist. NBC's Ron Allen reports now from Baghdad.
Day 6 since UN weapons inspectors returned, quietly going about their business, while Iraq's government steps up its rhetoric in the documents dispute, completely dismissing Chief Weapons Inspector Richard Butler's request.
He has asked for alleged documents that do not exist.
Iraq's leaders call the request part of a savage campaign to keep sanctions in place. The government claims it has turned over more than 2 million pages of documents to UN inspectors, and that's it.
We had handed over all available documents.
In New York, Richard Butler says he's waiting for Iraq's official response and to see how inspections go in the coming weeks.
I want the whole range and spectrum of our activities tested.
documents was a part of it. And so far, the answer's not good enough.
The worry is that this was supposed to be the easy part. The inspectors have yet to try many surprise investigations at sensitive sites.
Privately, some inspectors say they expect Iraq will keep making their jobs extremely difficult. The government here is apparently convinced no one wants to go to war over this. Ron Allen, NBC News, Baghdad.
Russian President Boris Yeltsin was rushed to the hospital on Sunday. Officials say he has pneumonia and a fever. Even so, the Kremlin says Yeltsin is still working and met the president of China in his hospital room today. President Clinton is heading home after his 5-day trip to Asia. Today, he stopped off in the U.S. territory of Guam, where he promised to transfer more land from the military to the island. The president returns to Washington tonight. The White House says it will answer the 81 questions from the House Judiciary Committee this week. The president's aides also say that he may be open to a formal punishment short of impeachment to end the impeachment inquiry quickly. The FBI is reporting a big drop in the nation's murder rate. It fell by more than 8% last year to its lowest level in 30 years. Overall, serious crimes were down for the 6th straight year. Dr. Jack Kevorkian is challenging Michigan authorities to arrest him to test a euthanasia case in court. Last night, in a nationwide broadcast, he was shown injecting a terminally ill patient with a lethal dose of drugs. Two of the nation's internet giants may be about to join forces. America Online is negotiating to buy Netscape in a deal said to be worth about $4 billion. The deal may be announced today. More than 3,000 people stood in long lines on Sunday in Carlisle, Iowa, for an open house at the new home of the McCoy septuplets. Bobby and Kenny McCoy and their children will move into their new donated home today, just in time for Thanksgiving. In Sunday night football, it was the 49ers over the Saints, 31-20. San Francisco improves to 8-3. New Orleans falls to 5-6. It is now 7:05. Let's go back to Katie and Matt.
Thanks, Ann.
Mr. Roker's taken one extra day off. That means we're blessed with the presence of Mr. Willard Scott down in Washington again. Hey, Willard.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
And you're wearing the new black.
Yeah, isn't that sexy? Yeah, it's my basic black. Well, I'll tell you, Alice, he decided to walk the baby this morning and feed him, so he's going to take one more day, and I'm delighted that he can stay home and I can get to work with you guys. Anyway, take a look at the weather map this morning. Big story again on the northwest coast. Good Lord have mercy. 80 mile an... Wait a minute.
Thanks, Willard. Good seeing you again. Things are ruffled up out there. Okay, for us, we'll start out with some sunshine, becoming mostly cloudy. The high temperature will be up to 62, southwest wind at 10 to 15. And then for tonight, mostly cloudy. We'll clear skies out late, a low down to 40. This is really going to be a dry cold front and won't do a whole lot with our temperatures for Tuesday. Mostly sunny and mild. The high temperature will be up to 64. A chance of rain on Wednesday, and then dry for Thanksgiving Day. Now let's take a look at live Doppler 14 radar.
That's it from Washington. Now here's Katie.
Thanks, Willard. On Close-Up this morning, Iraq's back. 1 week after it narrowly avoided an American military strike, Iraq this weekend refused to turn over documents the UN says it needs. The U.S. says that's simply unacceptable, and the UN meets today. Scott Ritter, former lead inspector for the UN inspection team, is now a consultant for NBC News. Scott, good morning. Welcome back.
Morning.
You're not surprised by this new defiance?
Not at all. This was something that everybody should have expected. Iraq feels that it won this latest confrontation, and I think we'll be seeing more posturing of this nature in the future.
Is it possible at all that the Iraqis have already handed over the germane documents?
Well, absolutely not. One reason why we were having the confrontations over inspections was that the inspectors were closing in on the document caches that were being held by President Saddam Hussein's personal security forces, and this is the golden nugget, this is the crown jewels, this is what they won't allow the inspectors to get.
I read not too long ago, Scott, that oftentimes when the inspectors would arrive on the scene, they would see Iraqi officials destroying documents before their very eyes, before they were able to enter a facility. Could these documents have been destroyed?
The most important documents have not been destroyed. What were destroyed were documents which suggested the existence of other documents, but we have seen not only documents destroyed, but also documents put in the back of sedans and driven out. We've seen computer diskettes put in briefcases and walked out under our very noses. We're powerless to stop them because, of course, they have the guns and we don't.
How are you so convinced, Scott, that these crucial documents have not been destroyed?
Well, the Special Commission has, over the course of several years, interviewed high-level defectors whose information has proven to be absolutely correct. It's essential for Iraq, if they are to reconstitute their weapons of mass destruction programs, to have these documents. These are the know-how documents. These are documents that tell them how to build the weapons, and also who is protecting the weapons today, where the weapons are hidden. Iraq must have these documents in order to have any hope of having their weapons of mass destruction programs reconstituted.
There's one in particular found in July that lists what substance Iraq loaded onto warheads during its long war with Iran. Why are those documents particularly important?
Well, that document shows that two things. Understand why documents are important to begin with. In 1991, Iraq claims it destroyed all of its weapons, but it had no inspectors there to confirm this. So then Iraq said, well, you just have to trust us at face value that we have these, that we've destroyed these weapons. This document in July shows that the Iraqi declaration is a lie. It shows that Iraq claims to have destroyed 15,000 bombs, for instance, but in fact only destroyed 7,000. So there's around 7,000 to 8,000 bombs filled with chemical agent unaccounted for. This is the kind of documents that are critical for the Special Commission to get down to the task of determining whether or not Iraq is in compliance.
Bottom line, if the documents aren't handed over, in your view, will the U.S. have any choice but to strike militarily?
Documents aren't sexy enough for war. Iraq will be able to put enough doubt into this issue to get backing in the Security Council. I don't think the U.S. Is going to have an easy time convincing the American public and the world that this is an issue where war is required.
All right. Scott Ritter. Scott, thanks so much.
Thanks.
It's 7:10. Now here's Matt.
Katie, thank you very much. Before you head out the door to work this morning, you may want to consider this next story. If you've ever wondered whether the stress of your job is killing you, wonder no more. A new study out this morning in the Journal of Psychosomatic Medicine says it is. Dr. Peter Schnall designed the study and was the lead writer of the report. Dr. Schnall, good morning to you.
Good morning, Matt.
What's the headline coming out of this?
Well, we're finding that subjects in our study who report high demand and low control work are much more likely to have hypertension and have much higher ambulatory blood pressures on a workday compared to individuals who do not have high demand, low control work, and we call this exposure variable job strain.
Job demand, you're talking about high stress jobs here. When you say low control, what exactly are you talking about there?
We're measuring something called decision latitude, a concept developed by Dr. Robert Karasik and Dr. Therese Terrell, in which they measure things like skill utilization, whether you get to use new skills on the job, and whether or not you have any say about the work process. So it's a measure of moment-to-moment control over work.
Let's take a look quickly at some of the jobs you list as being the worst in this category. You have middle managers, assembly line workers, clerical staff, waiters, waitresses, telephone operators. So the myth that it's the managers, the bosses, who undergo the most stress has just been shattered.
That's quite correct, Matt. Well, managers, professional people, executives have high demand work, but they also have lots of control over the work process. And as a consequence, they don't experience the biological arousal that occurs to an assembly line worker or a telephone operator when faced with lots of demands and inadequate amounts of control. Their bodies respond by releasing catecholamines and raising their blood pressure.
One of the negative health effects that we're talking about is hypertension, high blood pressure you just mentioned. Now, if you change jobs, Dr. Schnall, can you reverse the negative impact on your health?
Good point, Matt. What we're finding in our study is the subjects who report over the course of 3 years that they go from being exposed to job strain to no longer having job strain are having falls in their ambulatory blood pressure at work and home and during sleep of about 5 or 6 millimeters and 3 millimeters diastolic blood pressure. And the good news is the higher your blood pressure when you enter the study, the more of a fall you have when you go from being exposed to unexposed, suggesting that there's some reversibility to high blood pressure and hypertension.
I'm sorry, doctor, let me interrupt, because this study dealt with men in the workplace. Would the effects be different, do you think, if you were dealing with women in the workplace?
We've added women in to our study over the last 3 years. Almost 150 women are being followed prospectively now. We'll have their results this coming year.
Dr. Peter Schnall. Doctor, thanks very much.
Thank you, Matt.
7:13. Once again, here's Katie.
Matt, thank you. Now to Dr. Jack Kevorkian. Will he go to jail today? Michigan prosecutors say they still need to look more closely at a videotape that was broadcast last night on 60 Minutes that shows Dr. Kevorkian killing a terminally ill man with a lethal series of drugs. Dr. Kevorkian says he killed the man and he wants a showdown with authorities. Patrick Keenan is a law professor at the University of Detroit. Professor Keenan, thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning. You're welcome.
You say that Jack Kevorkian has really raised the stakes or pushed the envelope in this case. How so?
Well, I think that he has committed first-degree murder, and he's made a tape of it, and that tape has been shown to a nation, and I think that pretty much makes it clear that the prosecutor has to do what the prosecutor has to do.
He says he might be convicted of manslaughter, not murdered. Why does he say that?
He can't be convicted of manslaughter in the state of Michigan by any definition that I teach my criminal law students. What he did was the intentional killing of a human being. It was premeditated and deliberated. That's first-degree murder under the laws of Michigan and New York and a lot of other states.
The method he used differs from what he has previously used, correct?
Oh, I think I might part company with you there, Katie. The question is there a difference between suicide and a homicide? I believe there is. A suicide is a tragic event that it's a private decision made by an individual to do something to himself. This is a homicide. This is where one person kills another person, and that has to be sanctioned.
But before, Professor, didn't he allow the patients to actually press the buttons to administer whatever it was that would kill them ultimately? And in this case, it wasn't a case of assisted suicide. This would be more appropriately called mercy killing or euthanasia?
Well, it could be called mercy killing or euthanasia if you want to avoid using the technical legal term, which is murder. Anytime one human being intentionally kills another, that's murder.
What do you think Dr. Kevorkian's trying to achieve here?
Oh, I think he's trying to achieve several things. I think he's trying to achieve, first, martyrdom. I think he intentionally and passionately believes that what he's doing is correct. He has, I think, gone over the line. I think he is mentally unstable. I think he has become a purveyor of death. I think he wants to make Michigan a good place to come to die, and that's become a sort of collective embarrassment for all of us out here.
And yet, Professor, if you saw the piece, you had some sympathy for Dr. Kevorkian in that the individual who he killed was in such terrible pain and enduring terrible suffering as a result of Lou Gehrig's disease.
There is no question that Mr. Yoke was worthy of our sympathy and that we should be compassionate and that some competent medical professionals should do whatever is necessary to alleviate his pain. And if the purpose of providing the treatment is to alleviate pain, well then fine. And if he dies from it, that happens. But this wasn't done to alleviate pain. This was to cause death primarily. And that's the difference between any kind of end-of-life care that I've seen before.
I don't feel strongly one way or another, but oftentimes isn't death the only way to alleviate pain?
Death may be a way to alleviate pain, but the fundamental question that we come down to is whether we as a society can tolerate intentional killing of human beings by other human beings. We either can or we can't. If we can, and euthanasia is a situation when we can, then we can do another euthanasia and then another and another. And that frightens me.
Is there public support, Professor Keenan, for the prosecutors to charge Dr. Kevorkian with homicide?
I think there will be after the 60 Minutes show appeared. Jeff Feiger once said that no jury in Michigan will ever convict Jack Kevorkian. I think that may be changing. I think this one is, if you will, over the top. I think this is such a clear case of criminal activity that the 12 good men and women and true of Oakland County are going to have to step up and say, we are outraged and won't stand this, or we're going to tolerate this and let him go.
All right. Professor Patrick Keenan, thanks so much.
Thank you.
It's 7:17. Once again, here's Matt.
Katie, now to the impeachment process, which may be nearing an end. This weekend, some lawmakers raised the possibility that if impeachment fails, the president may escape without any punishment at all. Howard Feineman is with Newsweek magazine. He's an analyst also for MSNBC cable network. Howard, good morning to you.
Good morning.
It appears there may be enough votes to get some articles of impeachment out of the Judiciary Committee, but not the full House. So where do we go from here?
Well, we're going to a very unsatisfying end. In the sense that there probably will be a vote out of the committee to put articles of impeachment on the floor.
But if and when there is a vote on the floor, and Bob Livingston said yesterday that there would be one, they will vote down impeachment of the president. That'll be the end of the story.
In your article in Newsweek, you compare these impeachment hearings not to the Nixon impeachment hearings, but really to Vietnam. Explain that.
Well, I think even talking to a lot of Republicans, as I was doing last week, this has gone on too long. It's been divisive. In some cases, it doesn't seem to have a point. It's kind of hurt every institution it's touched, whether it's the Congress or the presidency or the press. And I think it's going to come to a rather unsatisfying conclusion for almost everybody concerned.
Over the weekend, Greg Craig, who's a special counsel to the president, said that the president would be willing to take some lesser form of punishment. You've heard Republicans use the term censure, but constitutionally, that is not a certain conclusion, is it?
No. As a matter of fact, Democrats have been using it more than Republicans, and everybody seems to have come to the conclusion that it's not a good idea. A lot of liberal supporters of the president don't want it because they don't think he should be punished at all. A lot of constitutional experts think it's a made-up slap on the wrist. And a lot of Republicans feel, now that they've actually taken a hit for supporting impeachment, as I think they did in the elections, they may as well go ahead and follow through. People feel very seriously that perjury is an impeachable offense, and they want the chance to vote for it on the floor, even if it doesn't go anywhere after that.
Let's take a look at another option that's been bandied about a bit, the option where President Clinton goes to Congress, to the floor of the House of the Senate, and he issues a very heartfelt apology and says, yes, I lied, yes, I did this. But you think that could hold some real legal peril for him down the road?
Well, in theory. I mean, if Kenneth Starr is determined, as he has shown himself to be so far, he may decide that whatever Congress does, at some point down the road, he will seek to indict the president and maybe put it in an envelope and say, look, open this up after he leaves office. So the president will have to be cautious legally, but politically, in talking to his top people, they're saying, look, the country is with us on this. The president has suffered a lot. We don't really need to say anything more, especially if Congress is going to vote down those impeachment articles.
Go back to the legal side, though. What you're saying is the president confessing, so to speak, on the floor of the House would be like confessing in a court of law when it comes time to...
Well, certainly his lawyers, who've been very cautious and protective so far, aren't going to let him say one more word than he actually has to.
I don't know if you're a betting man, but what are the odds this ends with no punishment at all?
Better than 50-50.
Howard Feineman. Howard, thanks very much.
Sure.
7:20, we're back in a moment. This is Today on NBC.
The millennium marks a time to reflect on the past as we look ahead to the future. I'm Alan Toomey. Join me for a unique look at Evansville's past as we turn back the pages of history and explore our city's rich heritage.
This is a collection of photographs to encourage public discussion about what has changed and why it's happened.
Images of Evansville, a journey of change, tonight at 10 on Newswatch 14.
Right now, you win when you buy a new Honda from D. Patrick Motoplex. You win with a Honda Accord for just $269 a month. Just $269 a month.
And at D. Patrick Motoplex, you win with the best selection of Hondas in the Tri-States, superior service, and fantastic leases.
You win with this '99 Honda Accord LX, loaded with options, only $269 a month with no money down, zero due at signing, no deposit, and D. Patrick pays your first payment for you.
You win when you buy your next Honda from
D. Patrick Motoplex.
All the fun toys, guaranteed to bring out the kid in everyone at Best Buy. Now that's a great gift idea.
Every physician in the Deaconess Health Partners Network is credentialed according to the strictest standards in the managed care industry, which means before they examine you,
Dr. Page?
we examine them.
The doctors will see you now.
For more information about Deaconess Health Partners, call 1-800-374-8993.
Coming up in our next half hour, the Goodyear blimp turns 100. We're going to talk live with 3 blimps airborne: Ohio, California, and the south of France.
And later on, Barry Manilow will serenade the huge Thanksgiving week crowd that's gathered in the plaza. There are some of them right now, but first, these messages and your local news.
When your allergies are a nightmare, you need fast relief. You need the power of Zyrtec. Prescription Zyrtec starts working fast and lasts 24 hours. So when allergies are a nightmare, remember the power of Zyrtec. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Other side effects included fatigue and dry mouth. Most were mild or moderate. To learn more, ask your doctor or pharmacist.
Ralph? Ralph, come here. Give me a hand. Good boy. Thanks.
Scotch Brand brings you pop-up tape strips. They free up both hands, so wrapping's never been easier. Pop-up tape strips from Scotch Brand.
Great timepieces are built to run forever without replacing batteries. But only one of these is smart enough to run forever on any kind of light. Echo Drive from Citizen. Live at the speed of light.
Peter Lynch from Fidelity. Would you believe you met me? How's the financial world?
Actually, there's some good news about IRAs. You know, retirement.
It's going to be a long flight.
The sooner people convert to a Fidelity Roth IRA, the sooner their earnings can grow tax-free.
Tax-free? Huh. Must be the cabinet pressure talking.
Convert to a Fidelity Roth IRA before the December 31st deadline to take advantage of one-time additional tax benefits.
Great. I'll call my son-in-law. His plan for retirement is to hide my medication.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Don't miss your Chevy dealers
Non-stop.
Blacktop. Coast.
To coast. Save the most.
sales event. The biggest cashback offers in Chevy history. Get your Cavalier Coupe and get $1,250 cash back. Or get your Cavalier with the lowest financing rate in Chevy history.
No payments for 90 days.
So get to your local Chevy dealer now for their non-stop blacktop coast-to-coast save the most sales event.
Act fast. Won't last.
Most men think that it makes more sense to rent a tuxedo than to buy one. After all, how many times can you use a tux? The fact is, more times than you think. Our tuxedos are 100% wool, fitted to you perfectly, and cost as little as a few rentals. But the best part of owning is, you know exactly who it was who wore it last.
The Men's Warehouse.
You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Turn to the Tri-States News Leader.
Today at 5.
This portion of Newswatch is brought to you by Welburn Baptist Hospital, your vital sign for hospital care.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. It is 7:25. I'm Christy Woolard.
And I'm Dan Katz. We'll check the news in just a moment. First, our weather, which isn't too bad out there from Storm Team meteorologist Byron Douglas. Hey, Byron.
Well, good morning, Dan and Christy. A warm start to this morning. Temperatures are already well above normal. 52 in Evansville, 54 over in St. Louis, 57 up in Indy. No showers. We do have a cold front that's getting a little bit closer. Maybe a few sprinkles for tonight. Not really looking at any accumulation. So the Storm Team forecast start out with some sunshine. We'll start to cloud over later on. The high temperature up to 62. Some of these clouds are starting to work into western Kentucky. And for tonight, mostly cloudy. Low down to 40. And then for tomorrow, it will be warmer behind the front. Unusual. High up to 64. Live exclusive traffic cam looks like this. The green light is on. Sunshine out on the east side. Old Henderson Road is now open. Dan and Christy.
All righty, Byron. Keeping the roads safe this holiday season is the goal of a new program called Operation Pullover.
A state grant pays for the program, which allows Vanderbilt County Sheriff's deputies to work overtime so they can look out for speeders and drunk drivers. The Sheriff's Department says if anyone gets pulled over, most likely you won't be getting a warning, you'll be getting a ticket.
Because if they stop you, they're probably going to write your ticket. And it may not be as many warnings over the next 2-week period because the Operation Pullover, they want tickets written because that's the only way we're going to get the word out to people that we are concerned with seatbelt compliance, drinking and driving.
Operation Pullover runs until December 5th. Sheriff departments in every Indiana county will also be taking part in Operation Pullover as well.
Officers won't only be looking for speeders and drunk drivers. Area law enforcement agencies will also be keeping their eyes out for folks who aren't buckled up. The Transportation Department is kicking off a national seatbelt campaign today with the help from officers in all 50 states. The week-long campaign is targeting motorists who don't wear seatbelts and who also don't have their kids buckled up. Police will be issuing tickets, increasing their patrols, and setting up checkpoints to enforce seatbelt laws. A majority of Americans, about 69%, do buckle up. However, the government says 6 out of 10 kids who died in car crashes last year weren't wearing their seatbelts.
Kentucky Senator, U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell will attend the opening of the Planters Tobacco Warehouse in Owensboro this morning. This is the first day of the 1998 Burley sales season. It begins today. Over 600 million pounds of Burley tobacco is expected to be sold this season by Kentucky farmers. The market's scheduled to run through February 26th.
Well, the Tri-State loves parades so much it couldn't even wait for Thanksgiving to have a Christmas parade. Even though the turkey hasn't yet been thawed, downtown Evansville seems to be deep in the heart of the spirit of the season. On Sunday, Evansville's 10th annual Christmas parade helped ring in the holiday cheer. Center City Corporation organizes the parade, and members figure with more than 100 floats and groups, this was their biggest parade yet. Beautiful down there. Well, thanks for joining us.
See you in 25 minutes.
No other area hospital cares more for your mental health. Welborn Baptist Hospital, your vital sign for hospital care. No other area hospital is rated higher.
The nurses took the time. They really cared.
Mommy's all better now.
Welborn Baptist Hospital, your vital sign for hospital care.
Traffic Cam is brought to you by Champion Windows, Sidings, and Patio Rooms, helping to make your house a little more like home.
Go Hollywood with Regis and Kathy Lee next live.
7:30 now on a Monday morning, the 23rd day of November, 1998, and of course the beginning of a big holiday week across the country. Big for us here in New York, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, of course, this Thursday. And we're going to be doing the honors this year. Looking forward to that. And
Me too.
Yeah.
No, I need it. I just didn't know whether I was supposed to.
Absolutely. In advance of that, we're going to be rocking outside the plaza today. Barry Manilow is with us, and a huge holiday crowd has gathered for that. Meanwhile, back inside Studio 1A, I'm Matt Lauer, along with Katie Kirk. Al Roker taking a little time off. He'll be back tomorrow, and we look forward to that. Coming up in this half hour, the Goodyear Company is turning 100. It's become a common sight at all kinds of events to see the Goodyear blimp flying overhead. It's changed the way television brings us sports. We're going to have a look at these lighter-than-air ships live from California, Ohio, and the south of France in just a few minutes.
Meanwhile, Matt, it's been more than 3 years since the bombing at the Oklahoma City Federal Building killed 168 people and injured countless others, but now authorities are saying the bombing is claiming even more victims. We're going to tell you who's being affected in just a few minutes.
Before we get to that, let's go back to the news desk for the headlines from Ann Curry.
All right, thanks a lot, Matt. In the headlines this morning, today the UN Security Council deals with Iraq's refusal to fully cooperate with UN weapons inspectors. Iraq said over the weekend it does not have certain documents the inspectors are requesting. The chief weapons inspector, Richard Butler, says that response is not acceptable. But he also said it is premature to talk of military action in the matter. Aides to President Clinton say he may be open to some kind of punishment short of impeachment if it brings a quick end to the impeachment inquiry. Today, the Judiciary Committee questions Daniel Gecker behind closed doors. He is the attorney for Kathleen Willey. Russian President Boris Yeltsin is hospitalized this morning, suffering from pneumonia, according to the Kremlin. Yeltsin still met with the president of China today. The 67-year-old Yeltsin has had a number of health problems this year, but he is pledging to serve out his term, which ends in the year 2000. Tonight on Dateline, a remarkable story of friendship and faith involving two women and their unique bond. One needed a kidney transplant, the other was willing to help. The story on Dateline tonight at 10, 9 Central Time here on NBC. And finally, the Rugrats movie was the top film at the weekend box office. The film took in $28 million over the weekend, according to industry estimates. Enemy of the State was second. The Waterboy was third. It is now 7:32 and time for the weather. And in for Al this morning, Mr. Willard.
Today's weather is brought to you by 100% Colombian coffee. Look for this symbol to find the richest coffee in the world.
Hey, thank you, Josie. Thank you, Ann and Juan Valdez. We always love you. San Diego Chargers. They're having a fabulous Red Cross Bloodmobile drive tomorrow, Tuesday, in San Diego. Where else? And where is it? At the Town and Country Convention Center. Check it out. Elizabeth Dole says, give some more blood. Holiday time shorties always. Love Elizabeth Dole. She's the best. She's from North Carolina. Happy birthday. This is a great morning for a cup of coffee and some Smucker's Strawberry Preserves. I got some seeds in my teeth. Probably nuts. This is Rosemary Woodhausen. Is that right? And she is from Port Washington in the great state of New York. 100. Credits her longevity to never sitting in the sun, drinking her brandy every night, and lots of chocolate. Hallelujah. My kind of woman. John Rosenbrock, Thousand Oaks, California, loves parties and women. He is 100. That's why he's smiling. Hallelujah. I don't know where he's just been to a party or strong storms anyway along the northwest coast, typical of this time of the year from Northern California to Washington State. Some of the winds off the coast, 80 miles an hour. Heavy rain inland and snow in the mountains. Also windy along the New England coast this morning. Scattered showers on the Gulf Coast of Florida and some fog from Texas up to the Mississippi Valley. And here's what's happening in your world, even as Al Roker does his little burp, the baby.
Good morning. Our mild November continues. The normal high for today is at 52. We're already there into lower 50s. We'll start to see an influx of clouds today, becoming mostly cloudy. The high up to 62. A front works on through tonight, but it'll mainly be a dry front with low down to 40. We'll clear out the skies late in the evening. And then for Tuesday, mostly sunny and mild, all the way up to 64. A chance of rain on Wednesday, dry for Thanksgiving. Now here's a look at our current conditions.
In New York today, Katie, enjoy.
Thanks, Willard. It's been more than 3 years since the Oklahoma City bombing, but as NBC's Jim Cummins recently discovered, some are just beginning to discover the horrible reality of it all.
The authorities in Oklahoma City have discovered something alarming. The bomb that killed 168 people is claiming new victims now, almost every day. Police, firefighters, and others who were part of the rescue operation in the first hours after the bombing have begun to suffer life-threatening emotional problems. A government report obtained by NBC News says 2/3 of the rescuers report handling bodies or body parts.
Those early officers who went into that building were impacted by the sights, sounds, and smells of that event. And those are the triggers. We have diffused many suicides.
Police Chaplain Jack Poe says the psychological effects of trying to rescue broken bodies of men, women, children, even babies, buried under tons of concrete and twisted steel, are devastating. He cites an example.
One of the officers who said to one of his co-workers behind a big cement block, you know, turn the water off. You know, we need to get the water turned off in the building. And the officer on the other side saying to him, that's not water, that's blood. That sound is forever imprinted on that officer's mind. It's not water, it's blood.
In fact, many mental health professionals have now concluded that prolonged exposure to the bomb site by rescue workers may prove to be just as traumatic as direct exposure to the blast itself. The only difference is the rescue workers don't feel the effects of their psychological damage until 3, 4, even 5 years after the bombing. In other words, now.
We get into the 3rd year and people are saying, you know, it's been 3 years. And I still hurt just as much today as I hurt 3 years ago. And is this going to get better? Because if it's not going to get any better, I don't know if I can go another month or 6 months.
And there are other warning signs. That same government report obtained by NBC News says there has been an increase in family violence within the Oklahoma City Police Department, and the traumatic effects on fire personnel have been extensive. The divorce rate in the police department is up 25 to 30%. In the fire department, it's up almost 300%. Poe says among all rescue workers,
we've had 5 suicides since the bombing. There's some connection to the bombing.
Police Sergeant Terry Yakey was among the first of these new victims. He rescued 4 people from the Murrah building after the blast, but it troubled him.
I was in Desert Storm, and I had seen things there, and I thought, well, you know, it doesn't get much worse than that. But I guess when it's at home, it's it's a lot worse.
Little more than a year after the bombing, Yakey committed suicide.
We're control people. We want things to be orderly, and when we come into a situation that's chaotic, the first thing we want to do is bring order to it. Well, you couldn't quite bring any kind of order into this. About all you could do is manage the chaos that was there.
Gwen Allen oversees mental health counseling for the rescue workers.
For every case that we know about, there may be 10 to 20 others that we don't know about.
Fire Department Chaplain Ted Wilson believes he knows why more rescue workers don't seek therapy.
When you show vulnerability or you show it to them, that translates into weakness. And you can't be weak in this kind of work and still survive.
Mental health experts expect more victims of psychological trauma will be found in the ranks of bomb rescue workers. They only hope these new victims seek help before it's too late. For Today, Jim Cummins, NBC News, Oklahoma City.
It's 7:38. We'll be back with more of Today right after this.
All right, what can I get you? Let me get a double espresso latte, half decaf, medium foam, and just named Dutch chocolate, okay? Thanks.
I'll have an Austrian goat milk cappuccino with a touch of Madagascar cinnamon.
Ordering the right cup of coffee has become quite complicated, unless...
I'll have what he's having.
All you want is the richest coffee in the world. Just look for Juan Valdez. 100% Colombian coffee. Anything else just doesn't sound as good.
How do you get a kid to eat shredded wheat? We bake it up with nuts and honey here at Post. Honey Nut Shredded Wheat. Kids love to eat it. Parents love to eat it. Post Honey Nut Shredded Wheat. Everybody loves to eat it.
You have been asleep for over 7 years. Your mission will change the course of history. But first, you've really got to brush your teeth. The Sonicare Sonic Toothbrush. It cleans with a combination of 31,000 brush strokes per minute and gentle sonic waves. Sonicare removes nearly twice as much plaque between teeth as a manual toothbrush, going where no brush has ever gone before. Sonicare, the Sonic Toothbrush.
Elizabeth Arden, Splendor, the enchanting new fragrance that sparked the most romantic love story ever. Elizabeth Arden, Splendor. The Holiday Color Collection, $38.50 with any $28 Elizabeth Arden fragrance purchase.
Secret shortcuts, back roads, winding trails. Thankfully, a truck that appreciates your sense of direction. A truck with 4 available suspensions that handles even when fully loaded. The GMC Sonoma, created with nearly 100 years of GMC commitment and a devotion to true truck capability.
Get your hands on a 98 Sonoma and drive away with $2,000 cash back or 0.9% APR financing.
The Sonoma from GMC.
The Goodyear Company is celebrating its 100th birthday this year, and as NBC's Kelly O'Donnell reports, there's no more enduring symbol of that company than the blimp.
And the famous crashing to the ground, not quite to the boring mass of the humanity.
New Jersey, 1938. This unforgettable scene, the Hindenburg devoured in flames. That history won't repeat itself because today's airships are so different. Blimps are smaller and they don't have a rigid interior frame. Floating inside, instead of hydrogen, a non-flammable helium that makes them lighter than air and very safe. And very marketable, which is why one of the Goodyear Company's early executives spotted the advertising potential of these strange flying ships. Back in 1925, P.W. Litchfield commissioned the Pilgrim, Goodyear's first promotional blimp. 4 more followed, and in 1929, aviation legend Amelia Earhart christened the Defender, Goodyear's state-of-the-art flagship, which featured technology still in the sky today.
The older style airship, which hasn't changed since 1932, that pilot's seat, it's the same. We've got rudder pedals that you use your legs on. The force on the rudder pedals can reach as high as 300 or 400 pounds pressure, and so most of the pilots have very strong legs.
Leg cramps aside, Goodyear pilots enjoy the best seat in the house, a hot ticket hovering above 120 sporting events each year.
Swing over and shoot the downtown buildings, or you...
Goodyear pioneered the overhead show, live aerial broadcasting that changed the way the world watches big games today.
The first network television, I believe, was in '63, the Orange Bowl. It very much looked like the most amateurish video, but you could see that there was this great overall picture of an event. No one had ever seen the Rose Bowl with 106,000 people.
Today, the fleet includes 6 blimps. 3 in the United States, 2 in Europe, and 1 in South America. Millions of people watch them beam major events around the globe. Not all fun and games. Equipped with an outside lighting system called Skytacular, airships can transmit emergency messages and public service announcements when disasters knock out everyday communication. Long and unmistakable symbol of that tire company from Akron, and a sight in the sky for 100 years. For today, Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, Los Angeles.
And in honor of the big birthday, we wanted to try something special. Check in around the world with some of the blimps in the fleet. Let's start with Airship Headquarters in Akron, Ohio, where Goodyear CEO Sam Jabara is standing by with the Spirit of Akron flying overhead. Mr. Jabara, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I know that you've been the CEO of Goodyear since 1996, and in that time you've doubled the blimp fleet. Why are they so important to you?
Well, Matt, the blimp, as you have mentioned, is probably the most known corporate symbol in America and today in the world. That's why we took the blimp global. You know, we're a global company, and we took the blimp to Europe and to Latin America this year because we're celebrating our 100th anniversary.
But you have $30 million invested in the actual blimps. It costs about $18 million a year just to keep one running. How do you calculate what type of return you can get for that investment?
Well, we don't calculate the return on the investment exactly as an advertising expense. As you mentioned, the blimps are also involved in public service and public communication. But we've also measured what it would have cost us to spend the same amount of money on TV advertising, and the return on our investment in the blimp is certainly higher than it would have been otherwise.
I know you're going to introduce yet another blimp in the Far East, and then that blimp will help cover the 2000 Summer Games in Sydney, Australia. How will you get it from the Far East to Australia?
That's why we still don't have a blimp in the Far East. We're working on a solution to do that, but you can be sure that we will be in Australia for the Olympics, and I know NBC is going to cover the Olympics. We'll be at the inauguration with our blimp.
Which brings up a good point, Mr. Jabara. How can I get a ride on one of these blimps? I know they're busy with television coverage about 60% of the time, but I also know it's very hard to get a seat on a blimp for a fun ride. How do you decide who goes and who doesn't go?
We primarily use the blimp for our dealers and our customers and our big OE accounts. But you're welcome for a ride on the blimp anytime. All you have to do is just write us a letter.
I put you on a little spot there, but that's okay. Mr. Jabara, thanks very much, and happy anniversary to you.
Thank you very much.
The blimps are impressive by day, but at night they really light up the sky. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell is live over the holiday lights of the Hotel del Coronado in Coronado, California this morning on the airship Eagle. Kelly, good morning to you.
Good morning, Matt.
Kelly, is it your first ride on a blimp?
It is.
Tell me about it.
Well, it's an incredible ride and an even better view. It's really very different than being in an airplane for a number of reasons. First of all, I can really feel the 2 aircraft engines that are powering us, and at the same time, this wonderful sensation of floating. And what's really different than an airplane is how we're rotating, which we're doing right now. So you get this sense of hovering. We've also been able to tip forward. That got my attention. And they tell me when we land, I really won't be able to forget that, because we'll go head first all the way down to about 200 feet when the ground crew will grab the ropes and help bring us down. So it's like nothing I've ever experienced before. Pretty tough assignment.
Can you describe the view for me a little bit, Kelly? What are you seeing?
Oh, it is just wonderful. Right outside my window, the Hotel del Coronado just bathed in its holiday lights. And as far as I can see, the lights of San Diego. And what's so different is that unlike an airplane where the ground is racing past you, here we're just creeping along, and it really gives you a view that's quite spectacular.
Kelly, just briefly, can you give me a little more information about how the blimps have been used to help people who have been the victims of disaster in the past?
Well, it's really becoming a necessity because when telephone service and power is out, the blimps are able to get the word out, telling people where they can get fresh water, where they can find the Red Cross and find shelter. Things like the Los Angeles earthquake in '94, back in San Francisco in 1989. This was really a lifeline to people in those initial hours after a disaster.
Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, thanks very much.
Thanks, Matt.
The fleet is not limited to the United States, so let's go live now to the south of France, where Chief Pilot Paul Adams is flying the Spirit of Europe near the Carlton Hotel in Cannes this morning. Captain, good morning to you.
Good morning, Matt.
Captain, has the blimp become as recognizable an icon in Europe as it is certainly here in the United States?
Oh, absolutely. Everywhere we go, the moment I say I fly the Goodyear blimp, people's interest perk up, and everybody remembers where they saw the blimp. It's just absolutely incredible.
Now, there is a camera located in the belly of that blimp, and when you fly the blimp, do you also control the camera?
No, I have a cameraman who's hiding behind me here, a very skilled operator who gives us all the superb shots you see at the sporting events.
Let's get something straight now. You're flying over the beaches of the south of France, correct?
Oh, you got it. Over the beautiful south of France, over a very blue Mediterranean.
Those would be topless beaches too, Captain, wouldn't they?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
I had a feeling you wouldn't, but anyway, let's suffice it to say in the summer months this would be a much different segment, wouldn't it?
Very much so, very much so.
How hard is it to fly a blimp?
They have their own personality. It's different rather than hard compared to an airplane. I get an awful lot of pleasure out of it.
What are the most difficult conditions to fly a blimp in? Obviously, the wind is your biggest enemy.
Yeah, high winds, very high gusty winds will probably be the worst that we'd have to fly in, but we don't get conditions like that very often.
Now, I've heard the engine's just kind of revved up a bit. What's that for? Are you trying to gain some altitude?
No, the cameraman's shouting at me, left pedal, so it's just to give you guys the best shot.
Does it ever get boring flying so slow, Captain?
Oh, no, absolutely not. There is always something new to look at. At the moment, I can see Nice off of the nose, and off the tail, I have Saint-Tropez. It's just a beautiful view, one you never get bored with.
Well, Captain, thank you for sharing it with us. We appreciate it.
Have a good day.
And we'll be right back. But first, this is Today on NBC.